Hey truckers, today we're seeing part 21 of Villain Tricks Heroines into Hating the MC. Let's dive into the video. After hours of tormenting and enjoying the sexy bodies of the mother-daughter duo, Wang Jian finally stopped. Elf Queen Alindra and her eldest daughter, Princess Selena, lay on the chamber floor, their entire bodies stained with Wang Jian's semen. Alindra and Selena had been through the most humiliating and degrading experience of their lives. Wang Jian had taken them both, ravaging their bodies in a brutal display of dominance and power. Their screams of pain and pleasure echoed throughout the chamber, muffled only by the silk pillows and linens. Now, they lay spent, their eyes glassy and vacant. Their lips were swollen and bruised from the rough kisses and bites Wang Jian had inflicted upon them. Their bodies were a patchwork of red, purple and yellow marks from his relentless spankings and floggings. Wang Jian stood over them, his cock still partially erect from his exhausting marathon of pleasure. He surveyed his handiwork with a satisfied smirk. His eyes lingered on Alindra, who lay curled on her side. Fortunately for Alindra and Selena, not a single other elf princess had awakened during this period. It seemed that they were all still unconscious and hadn't witnessed the depraved sight of Alindra and Selena being aggressively violated by Wang Jian. This was all because Wang Jian had controlled the vitality to ensure that the other elven princesses wouldn't awaken. He had used his ability to spread vitality to suppress their consciousness, allowing him to have his way with Alindra and Selena without fear of discovery. Both of you should now understand your roles as my sex slaves, Wang Jian spoke with a smile. Alindra whimpered out with a submissive look on her face, "Why yes, master." Selena responded with a slightly excited look, "I look forward to pleasing you more, master." Wang Jian nodded in acceptance, "Good. Now get up and wear your clothes. I will clean this area with my power." As he spoke those words, a mixture of attributes began to radiate outwards of his body as the entire chamber was cleaned. Even the bodies of these elf princesses who were unconscious were cleaned. After Alindra and Selena wore their clothes, Alindra stepped out and bowed in Wang Jian's direction as she spoke, "Master, I have a suggestion." There was an interested look in Wang Jian's eyes as he spoke, "Speak." "What is it?" "I request you to publicly marry my daughter Selena. In this way, you will have a direction connected to us, the royal family of the elves. This will allow you to wield the same authority as me and allow you to control the elves into doing your bidding," Alindra spoke rather submissively. Wang Jian raised his brow upon hearing her proposal. This was quite a good one. He didn't expect Alindra to propose something like this. But when he thought deeply, Wang Jian realized the truth, "I see. By marrying off her daughter, Alindra wants me to develop genuine relationship with her daughter so that her daughter can enjoy some love from me." Wang Jian didn't mind going along with what Alindra wanted. That is a good deal. However, I will have you serve me along with her," Wang Jian spoke with a devious smirk. In contrast to her typical character, Alindra didn't show a disgusted or a look of hatred. Instead, she showed an excited smile as she whispered submissively, "It would be my honor, master." Well, it didn't take long before Wang Jian utilized his ability of creation to infuse the life force and vitality into the elf princesses who were still unconscious. After being infused with pure life force and vitality, the elf princesses slowly began to awaken, their eyes fluttering open as they took in their surroundings. They were confused and disoriented, unsure of what had happened or where they were. These four elf princesses had no idea of the depraved events that had occurred in this chamber. Then they saw the human sitting on a chair, and their confused expressions turned to shock. They gasped in horror, unsure of what to make of this strange man. They were also surprised to see the human seated on a chair while their mother elf Queen Alindra was standing next to him. The same was true about their eldest elf Princess Selena, who was standing on the other side of that human. Soon, Alindra took the lead and began to explain the entire situation to her daughters who had awakened. Alindra made sure to inform her daughters that Wang Jian was the benefactor of the entire elven race because of his ability to heal the world tree, and he had also healed them, the royal family, from the side effects of the verdant resurgence ritual. Lastly, Alindra had decided that she would make Wang Jian the future husband of Selena. All this information came as a shock for all these elf princesses. Especially the part about Selena marrying Wang Jian. This would be the first time in the history of elves that someone from the royal family was going to marry a human. However, they soon understood that considering how much the elven race owed Wang Jian and the fact that Selena actually loved Wang Jian a lot, this was the most appropriate decision. Wang Jian, sensing their curiosity, chimed in with a reassuring smile, "I want you all to know that my intention is to ensure the prosperity and protection of the elven race. This alliance will not only strengthen our bond but also grant you access to the incredible resources and knowledge of the everlasting mystical empire." With Wang Jian's words and the trust placed in their mother, the elf princesses began to see the bigger picture. They nodded in unison, signaling their acceptance and understanding of the situation. As the situation unfolded in the Elven Dominion, in another part of the northern region, a different and unexpected turn of events had transpired. The forces of the Elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion, who had come to aid the Dwarven Dominion, had betrayed them. They swiftly conquered the Dwarven Dominion, a shocking act of treachery that left the dwarves stunned and dismayed. But the twist didn't end there. The Dwarven Dominion astonishingly invested a significant amount of its immortal energy and relocated from the northern region to the vast western deserts. This move was driven by a promise made by Jiangchen, the ruler of the Elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion, to the spirit of the Dwarven-powered Immortal Dominion. Jiangchen assured the dwarves that he could facilitate the recovery of their immortal energy by relocating to the western deserts. Intriguingly, during this period, an ancient artifact was discovered among the treasures of the dwarven race. This artifact contained the sealed powers of Jiangchen himself. Once he regained possession of this artifact, Jiangchen began to absorb the sealed powers back into his body. His cultivation base skyrocketed, rapidly reaching the peak of the Saint Realm. Moreover, with the unlocking of this new ability, the power of Hell Lightning, Jiangchen's combat abilities reached an unprecedented level of terror and mastery. Isabella, the ruler of the Verzen Empire, shared the alarming news with Wang Jian upon his return from the Elven Kingdom. As Wang Jian listened to the reports about the swift conquest of the Dwarven Dominion by Jiangchen's forces, he couldn't help but be taken aback. If the Dwarven Dominion could be conquered so swiftly, it indicated that their adversary was a force to be reckoned with, and any negligence on their part could result in dire consequences for their immortal dominions. However, Wang Jian wasn't one to back down from a challenge. He saw an opportunity in this situation. With the powerful support of the World Tree Elven Dominion, he realized that they could potentially expand the influence of the Elven Dominion to cover the entire northern region. With the World Tree's vast dominion spreading its protective roots across the entire northern region, they could safeguard their territory and ensure the safety of their people. Not only would this strategic move help protect and preserve the northern region, but it would also serve as a form of rebellion, effectively cutting off the region's connection with other human factions from different regions. This decision could have far-reaching consequences, but Wang Jian was determined to put it into action. Amidst the unfolding events in the northern region and the ongoing power struggles, a significant development occurred in the central region. This occurred in the Silver Azura Devil Dominion. The cause was the demon race's fierce internal conflict. This internal strife embroiled the four great devil clans in a bitter battle, pitting two against the other two. The Heavenly Azura Devil Clan and the Oceanic Tempest Storm Devil Clan formed one faction, while the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil Clan and the Nether Curseweaver Devil Clan allied with each other. Read latest OVLS at nv/e/l/buy.com. The battle within these four great clans was brutal, causing a ripple effect that spread to their subordinate clans. The discord and chaos among the demons were evident, and the conflict threatened to destabilize the Silver Azura Devil Dominion. In the midst of this chaos, the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil Clan and the Nether Curseweaver Devil Clan found themselves on the losing side. Faced with the grim prospects of defeat, they were ultimately forced to flee from the Silver Azura Devil Dominion. Their escape route led them to the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion. What was surprising was that the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion, comprising 3 powerful sects, opened its gates to the refugees from the defeated Devil clans. This decision came as a result of an order issued by 2 of the 3 sects, who were under the control of Wang Jian, and they obeyed his directive to allow the demons to enter their immortal dominion. As the demon clans settled in the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion, they were met with hostility and suspicion from the human experts of the world. Many of the human associations had seemingly broken their trade relations and other connections with the 3 sects that ruled over the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion. They denounced the 3 sects for betraying the human race and siding with the nefarious demon race. They accused them of being corrupted by the devilish aura and conspiring with the enemy. They warned them of the dire consequences of their actions and demanded them to expel the demons from their immortal dominion. However, the 3 sects of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion refused to comply with the demands of the human associations. They defended their decision to provide asylum to the demon clans. They argued that the demon clans were also victims of the internal conflict within the Silver Azura Devil Dominion and that they deserved a chance to live peacefully. They also pointed out that the demon clans had sworn loyalty to Wang Jian and that they would not cause any trouble for the other humans as long as they remained inside the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion. Naturally, the truth was that their reasoning was a load of nonsense. The only reason they accepted the demons was because the Spirit Affinity Sect's leader and the Heavenly Lotus Sect's leader had received Wang Jian's command to accept these demons. Well, now that they had taken this decision, hoped that by having the demon clans in their immortal dominion, they could learn more about the secrets and weaknesses of the Silver Azura Devil Dominion and the other 3 great devil clans. They intended to use this information to their benefit in the future. The 3 sects had their own reasons for allowing the demon clans to enter their immortal dominion, but they did not expect that their decision would bring them more trouble than they had anticipated. The human associations were not the only ones who were unhappy with their decision. There were also many dissenters and rebels within their own sects, who were opposed to the idea of coexisting with the demon race. They felt that the 3 sects had betrayed their principles and their dignity by welcoming the enemies of the human race. They feared that the demon clans would bring disaster and calamity to their immortal dominion. They resented Wang Jian for imposing his will on them and for manipulating them into following his plan. While the 3 sects of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion were facing the backlash and the rebellion from the human associations and their own members, Wang Jian was busy with his own plans in the northern region. Wang Jian wanted to unify the entire northern region under his rule and make it his own domain. To achieve this, he used the abundant resources and the advanced technology of the Elven race to construct multiple teleportation arrays all over the northern region. These teleportation arrays were connected to each other and to the central hub in the Divine Tree Elven Dominion. With these teleportation arrays, Wang Jian could easily transport his troops and supplies to any location in the northern region. He could also mobilize his allies and reinforcements in case of any attack or invasion. As Wang Jian worked tirelessly to assert his influence in the northern region, he also focused on gathering and enhancing his most trusted allies. This involved utilizing his unique soul board ability, which allowed him to significantly enhance the abilities and powers of those under his command. With Wang Jian's expertise at the Saint Realm in cultivation, he could systematically upgrade the cultivation levels of each of his allies to the Saint Realm, provided they had sufficient soul points. The process allowed his allies to break through to new heights of power and skill, becoming formidable assets to his cause. One by one, Wang Jian's wives underwent this transformative process. Through their unwavering loyalty and numerous intimate encounters with Wang Jian, they had accumulated a substantial number of soul points. Spending a night of intense passion with Wang Jian was an exceptionally efficient method for a woman to earn these valuable points. As a result, each of Wang Jian's wives ascended to the Saint Realm, marking a significant enhancement in their strength and capabilities. As Wang Jian finished enhancing the abilities of each one of his wives to the Saint Realm, he looked at the elf queen Alindra with a smirk on his face. He could see the shock and disbelief in her eyes, as she witnessed the miraculous scene before her. She had never seen anyone who could elevate the cultivation of others so easily and so quickly. Alindra realized that Wang Jian was not a normal man. He was a man who possessed the power and abilities of a deity. She felt a surge of fear and awe in her heart as she realized how insignificant and helpless she was in front of him. She also felt a strange attraction and admiration for him as she realized how magnificent and splendid he was. She knew that he was perverted, depraved, and evil. He had done many things that she hated and despised. He had taken her by force and made her his slave. He had humiliated her and made her do things that she was ashamed of. But she also knew that he was the only one who could give her what she wanted and needed. He was the only one who could make her feel alive and satisfied. He was the only one who could make her forget her troubles and worries. She knew that he was her master and her king. She knew that she had no choice but to obey him and serve him. She knew that she had fallen for him and that she loved him. After this, Elf Queen Alindra became completely submissive to Wang Jian. She did not reject any one of his orders. She did everything that he asked her to do, without any hesitation or complaint. She became his obedient and respectful servant. Meanwhile, Wang Jian had been preparing himself for a huge event. He had been gathering his forces and upgrading their abilities to the Saint Realm. He had been collecting information and resources from the northern region. He had been waiting for the right moment to strike. He had decided that it was finally time to launch his attack on the barbarian race's immortal dominion in the southern region. He had a clear and simple objective. He wanted to destroy the 4 earth veins that were the source of power and stability for the barbarian race's immortal dominion. He only took along the experts whose abilities he had upgraded to the Saint Realm. He had a total of 30 Saint Realm experts, including the demon clans, the elves, the beasts, and the humans. Up to dfrm no/v/e/lb I n.co/m. He also had 300 Emperor Realm experts and tens of thousands of King Realm experts, who were going to be the primary force at the battlefield. He used the teleportation arrays that he had constructed all over the northern region to transport his troops to the everlasting mystical empire's capital in the southern region. He ordered all the experts at the King Realm and the Emperor Realm cultivation to lay siege to the barbarian race's immortal dominion. He ordered them to inform him by using the telephone artifact in case someone at the Saint Realm came to the battlefield. While this happened, Wang Jian spent some rather intimate nights with all his wives and concubines in his palace in the everlasting mystical empire. He enjoyed their company and their affection as he prepared himself for the final battle. He was confident that he would succeed and that he would conquer the southern region completely. The assault on the barbarian race's immortal dominion had not gone unnoticed. The barbarian race braced themselves, deploying their most powerful experts to protect their immortal dominion. Even their Saint Realm experts, considered the pinnacle of their strength, were sent to the battlefield. Wang Jian, however, was prepared for the arrival of these formidable opponents. He had positioned his own Saint Realm experts to engage the barbarian race's Saint Realm experts in battle. The clash of these elite forces created a tense stalemate on the battlefield, as each side struggled to gain the upper hand. While the fierce battle raged on, Wang Jian remained in the comfort of his palace, enjoying intimate moments with his Empress Su Xian and his other wives such as Fin Shuang, Chen Yan, Hong Meilin, Stella, and Jean Meixiang. He naturally also spent his nights with his concubines and his secret mistresses. They provided him with affection, companionship, and solace, acting as a source of pleasure during this critical juncture. However, just when Wang Jian thought that he had the upper hand in the battle, he received a shocking news from his subordinates. The elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion's forces had suddenly appeared on the battlefield, along with the experts of the giant race and the dwarven race. They had formed an alliance with the barbarian race and had come to assist them in fighting against Wang Jian's forces. They had launched a surprise attack on Wang Jian's rear flank, causing a lot of chaos and confusion among his troops. However, Wang Jian did not panic or lose his composure. He was calm and confident, as he had anticipated this possibility and had prepared for it. The battle between the barbarian race and Wang Jian's forces was fierce and bloody, but it was only the beginning of a larger war. As the two sides fought for control of the southern region, a third force entered the fray, the elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion and its allies. The Dwarven race, Giant race, and Devil race from the Heavenly Azura Devil clan and the Oceanic Tempest Storm Devil clan, armed with advanced technology and formidable abilities, added their might to the conflict. Wang Jian, expecting this scenario, remained composed. With the battle escalating into an all-out war, he rallied his allies from the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion, the Elven race, and the human experts of the Verzen Empire. The battlefield transformed into a massive theater of war, with numerous troops clashing in a complex, intricate battle that would determine the southern region's fate. The war was intense and dynamic, featuring countless individual skirmishes and simultaneous strategic maneuvers. The elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion and its allies introduced advanced technology to the conflict. The Dwarven race wielded powerful energy cannons that unleashed devastating beams, while the Giant race's members relied on their colossal size and strength to crush opponents. The Devil race experts from the Heavenly Azura Devil clan and the Oceanic Tempest Storm Devil clan possessed dark, elemental abilities, conjuring storms and curses upon their adversaries. In response, the Elven race showcased their mastery of nature and their profound connection to the environment. They harnessed elemental control to create protective array formations and unleash devastating forces on their foes. The Verzen Empire's human experts demonstrated their combat prowess, wielding advanced weapons and armored suits that provided increased strength and resilience. The battlefield brimmed with distinctive weaponry and armor, from energy blades to elemental staffs, and from enchanted armors to energy shields. The clash of abilities and weaponry created a captivating spectacle of warfare. Wang Jian's tactical brilliance shone as he strategically positioned his forces to counter the elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion's alliance. He employed his soul-board ability to enhance his allies' abilities, allowing them to stand their ground against formidable foes. The war evolved into a dynamic dance of shifting formations and coordinated attacks. Battle formations adapted to the ever-changing conflict, with both sides employing every advantage in a war of attrition. The battlefield was not merely a physical space but also a battleground of magic, energy, and martial prowess. Wang Jian's Saint Realm experts executed potent techniques and martial arts, pushing their abilities to the limit. Elemental attacks, energy beams, and elemental storms filled the atmosphere. The barbarian race, bolstered by the elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion's alliance, fought with unparalleled ferocity. Their inherited, unique abilities made them formidable adversaries, and they leveraged their knowledge of earth veins to erect robust barriers and elemental constructs to thwart enemy advances. Amidst the chaos and intensity of battle, individual heroes emerged, their names destined for the annals of history. They fought with courage and skill, changing the course of the war in decisive moments. Find new stories on nov/elbin.com. While the battlefield was a scene of blood and glory, Wang Jian was away from the carnage, enjoying the pleasures of his Empress Su Xian, his wives like Fan Shuang, Qin Yan, Hong Meilin, Stella, and Jin Meixiang, and his beloved concubines. As the war continued, Wang Jian's army was gradually gaining the advantage over the barbarian race and the elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion's coalition. But then, when victory was almost in sight, the battlefield was shaken by a new development. A new force appeared on the horizon, the army of the Bronze Mirage Empire from the western deserts. At the head of this powerful army was Theodoros, the emperor of the Bronze Mirage Empire. But behind that imperial mask, Theodoros hid another identity, that of an ancient devil named Jiangchen. The news of this surprise arrival quickly reached Wang Jian's ears through his vast network of spies, even as he was in the midst of his intimate affairs. When he heard of Jiang Chen's appearance, Wang Jian realized that the situation had become critical. With the ancient devil's incredible strength and wisdom, he was a serious threat to Wang Jian's army and their hard-won gains. It was at this crucial moment that Wang Jian made the choice to leave the luxury of his palace and join the battlefield himself. The fate of the southern region was at stake, and he could not let the ancient devil ruin his plans. In a heartbeat, he decided to join the action himself. In a blink, he found himself on the battlefield amidst the mayhem. With a cocky grin on his face, Wang Jian stood in the midst of the chaos. He took a moment to assess the situation and, with a flick of his wrist, summoned the blazing fury of his flame attacks. Flames burst forth from his palms, an inferno that seemed to swallow the battlefield. As he unleashed his fiery onslaught, the elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion's forces were caught off guard. The sheer power of the flames was staggering, and it engulfed the entire area in a maelstrom of destruction. Wang Jian's attacks were relentless, and they swept through the battlefield like a storm of passion. Saint Realm experts, usually the paragons of power and might, found themselves trapped in the carnage. They struggled to escape the unrelenting flames, their strength and resilience no match for Wang Jian's fiery powers. The sight of their demise was a celebration of destruction. It was both thrilling and chilling. Amidst the chaos and exhilaration of the battlefield, Wang Jian stood as a mesmerizing figure of dominance, his every move a testament to his prowess. As Wang Jian continued his fiery assault on the battlefield, burning through the ranks of the barbarian race and the elemental Nexus Immortal Dominion, he reveled in the satisfaction of his power. However, just as Wang Jian was reveling in the mayhem, a sudden and unexpected jolt of electricity coursed through the air. A powerful lightning bolt struck with a ferocity that even Wang Jian found difficult to evade. A sharp tinge of pain coursed through his body, and he was momentarily taken aback. As the smoke and sparks cleared, Wang Jian's eyes fixated on the source of this electrifying attack. Emerging from the haze was a figure hurtling towards him with undeniable speed. It was none other than Jiangchen, whose formidable powers had just rocked the battlefield. Wang Jian couldn't help but grin, his excitement rising. This was exactly the kind of thrilling challenge he had been seeking. He wanted to put his own strength to the test against this formidable opponent, to see just how his abilities measured up to the power of Jiangchen. With an air of anticipation and a sense of eagerness, Wang Jian prepared for the encounter against this ancient devil. Jiangchen, a force to be reckoned with, approached Wang Jian with an aura of unyielding determination. He had come to challenge the very person who had been messing with his plans quite a bit. His ancient devil powers had surged, and he was ready to confront the enigmatic Wang Jian. The two formidable figures met in a charged atmosphere, their powers crackling. Wang Jian, never one to back down from a challenge, met Jiangchen head-on. His powerful flames clashed with Jiangchen's electrifying energy, creating a spectacle that was intense and thrilling. Jiangchen finally spoke up, his voice cutting through the charged atmosphere. "Wang Jian, you've been quite a thorn in my side, meddling in my plans. But today, it all ends." Wang Jian couldn't help but smirk in response to Jiangchen's declaration. His cocky confidence oozed from every pore as he retorted, "Oh, Jiangchen, you're finally showing up to the party. I was wondering when you'd join the fun. Well, let's see if you can back up those words with action." With that, the two formidable figures wasted no time. Jiangchen unleashed his lightning abilities, each strike a dazzling display of raw power. His hell lightning crackled with intensity, striking with precision and speed. Wang Jian, however, was ready for the challenge. With an air of calm determination, he countered Jiangchen's abilities with his own. His solar flames burned with a brilliant ferocity, each fiery burst in answer to Jiangchen's electrifying onslaught. The battlefield became a whirlwind of energy as the two combatants clashed with power and precision. Lightning and flames danced in a chaotic ballet, an intricate exchange of might. Jiang Chen's hell lightning struck with the speed of a serpent, seeking to consume Wang Jian in its unforgiving grasp. But Wang Jian's solar flames were equally relentless, a blazing wall of defense that withstood the storm. Wang Jian taunted at this moment, "Is that all you've got, Jiang Chen? I expected more from someone who's been plotting against me for so long." In one spectacular moment, Jiang Chen's hell lightning clashed with Wang Jian's solar flames. The battlefield erupted in an explosion of energy and power as the two forces collided. Wang Jian's cocky smile remained even as he felt the surge of power coursing through his veins. Jiang Chen activated his Ashura transformation, and his body underwent a drastic change. His skin turned dark and scaly, his hair turned white and spiky, his eyes turned red and bloodthirsty, and his teeth turned sharp and fawn-like. He also grew 6 arms, each holding a different weapon: a sword, a spear, a hammer, a whip, a shield, and a dagger. He looked like a terrifying and powerful demon, ready to slaughter anyone in his way. He charged at Wang Jian, who was still in his human form, and unleashed a flurry of attacks with his 6 weapons. He slashed, stabbed, smashed, lashed, blocked, and pierced Wang Jian with incredible speed and force, creating sparks and explosions with every contact. He also used his hell lightning to enhance his attacks, adding more power and damage to his weapons. Wang Jian was caught off guard by Jiang Chen's sudden transformation and onslaught. He barely managed to dodge and parry some of Jiang Chen's attacks, but he was still injured and bleeding from several wounds. He realized that he had underestimated Jiang Chen's power and potential, and that he had to use his own bloodline power to match him. U updates tnvel/by.com. He activated his Blue Moon Eclipse Devil Bloodlines transformation, and his body also underwent a drastic change. His hair turned blue and silky, his eyes turned crimson and piercing, and his skin turned pale and smooth. He also emitted a cold and mysterious aura that made him look like a noble and elegant devil, ready to dominate anyone in his way. With the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil Bloodlines transformation, Wang Jian possessed enhanced strength, agility, and resilience. The battlefield became an arena of power where the Ashura transformation clashed with the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil Bloodlines' might. Their attacks met in a dazzling display of energy, each move a testament to their power. Jiang Chen activated his Ashura soul, creating a projection of his Ashura form, which fought alongside him and enhanced his abilities. He utilized his Ashura domain, creating a spatial realm where he controlled the laws of lightning and the Ashura realm. Meanwhile, Wang Jian countered with his Blue Moon Storm Devil domain. It was a fusion of moon element and storm attribute, which allowed Wang Jian to control and manipulate the environment. He harnessed the power of the moon, affecting tides and causing powerful storms that struck with devastating precision. The two Saint Realm experts clashed in a battle that left everyone else on the battlefield in sheer awe. Their maneuvers were not only powerful but also marked by cunning and intelligence. The battle was a mesmerizing dance of wits and strength, and it was clear that neither of them was willing to yield an inch. Jiang Chen continued to rely on his Ashura transformation, which granted him incredible speed and strength. He delivered a relentless onslaught of strikes and energy attacks, his 6 arms moving with uncanny precision. Wang Jian countered with the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil Bloodlines abilities, which was Moonlit Parry. Wang Jian's movements were now guided by the serene power of the moon. With impeccable timing and precision, he parried Jiang Chen's attacks, creating a delicate yet formidable defense. The next ability that he utilized of the Oceanic Tempest Storm Devil bloodline was the Storm Surge Evasion. By harnessing the power of the storm, Wang Jian evaded Jiang Chen's devastating energy blasts and attacks with fluid grace. His ability to dodge and counterattack was nothing short of spectacular. The battlefield became a stage for this thrilling confrontation. Jiang Chen's Ashura Wrath unleashed a shockwave of fear, but Wang Jian's Blue Moon Storm Devil domain disrupted the emotional influence of the attack. Jiang Chen attempted to bind his opponent with the Azura seal, but Wang Jian's moonlit power resisted the constraints, breaking free from the seal's grip. The battle raged on, their abilities interweaving in intricate patterns. Wang Jian revealed his own unique attack, Moonlit Annihilation, an ability that unleashed a barrage of lunar energy beams, each with deadly accuracy. Jiang Chen, in response, utilized his Azura blades to deflect and counter this onslaught, their blades clashing in a symphony of sparks. The clash of their strengths and the intelligence with which they employed their abilities left those watching in sheer amazement. Jiang Chen's Azura soul projected alongside him, mirroring his every move, while Wang Jian's Blue Moon Eclipse Devil bloodline granted him the agility of a moonlit dancer. Wang Jian countered with Lunar Surge counter. Whenever Jiang Chen's attacks seemed about to land, Wang Jian used his affinity with moon energy to redirect the strikes away. It was like trying to hit a phantom that was always one step ahead. Wang Jian also utilized Moonlit Embrace. His command of the moon's power allowed him to create shimmering barriers of moonlight. These barriers acted as a formidable defense, deflecting Jiang Chen's Azura attacks and creating opportunities for counteroffensives. Jiang Chen, not one to be outdone, as he utilized Azura Mirage ability. He used his spatial manipulation to create illusory duplicates of himself, each mirage capable of launching attacks. The mirages overwhelmed Wang Jian with their sheer numbers, making it challenging to discern the real Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen also utilized Lightning Rush ability. His lightning-infused speed was electrifying. He darted around the battlefield with astonishing agility, landing blows on Wang Jian that seemed almost impossible to evade. Their abilities clashed in a dazzling display of power and strategy. Suddenly, Jiang Chen unveiled a new ability, Azura Void Step. This technique allowed him to teleport instantaneously, appearing beside Wang Jian in the blink of an eye. He launched a ferocious Azura strike, hoping to catch Wang Jian off guard. Wang Jian, however, was always prepared. With a quick twist of his body, he executed the Blue Moon Eclipse dance, a move that allowed him to dance around Jiang Chen's attack. In the process, he unleashed a powerful Blue Moon Eclipse storm, a storm of moonlight and energy that engulfed Jiang Chen in its ethereal embrace. Jiang Chen was not one to back down either. He summoned his Azura clones, creating illusory duplicates that surrounded Wang Jian. Each clone prepared to explode, threatening to engulf Wang Jian in a cataclysmic blast. It was an all-or-nothing move, a final gambit to gain the upper hand in the battle. Wang Jian, however, was not to be outdone. He launched his Moonlit Annihilation, unleashing a barrage of lunar energy beams with surgical precision. Each beam homed in on the Azura clones, clashing in a stunning display of light and force. The moment the Azura clones were struck, they erupted in a massive explosion, generating a shockwave that engulfed the battlefield. The blast was so colossal that even the warriors at the farthest reaches of the battlefield were sent sprawling by the sheer force of it. Debris and energy rained down upon the soldiers, and the very earth shook beneath their feet. As the smoke and dust began to clear, Wang Jian and Jiang Chen emerged from the epicenter of the explosion. Their bodies were battered and bruised, bloodied and scarred, and both men were clearly wounded. Yet, they stood tall and unwavering, their determination and willpower unshaken. The battle had taken a devastating toll on both of them, but neither was willing to back down. Their auras, though weakened, still radiated an unyielding energy, a silent declaration that they were far from finished. The warriors on the battlefield looked on in amazement, their respect for these two Saint Realm experts growing with each passing moment. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen, their bodies battered and weary, were about to continue their epic battle when the heavens above them seemed to crack open. Powerful and intense holy arrows descended from the sky with unparalleled speed, striking both of them with precision. The holy arrows, infused with divine energy, were devastating to the two Saint Realm experts in their devil forms. They pierced through their defenses, causing searing pain and significant damage. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen were left shocked and bewildered by this sudden attack. They gazed upwards, and their eyes widened as they beheld the sight of angels descending from the heavens. Jiang Chen's azure soul projected alongside him, mirroring his every move, while Wang Jian's blue moon eclipse devil bloodline granted him the agility of a moonlit dancer. Wang Jian countered with lunar surge counter. Whenever Jiang Chen's attacks seemed about to land, Wang Jian used his affinity with moon energy to redirect the strikes away. It was like trying to hit a phantom that was always one step ahead. Wang Jian also utilized moonlit embrace. His command of the moon's power allowed him to create shimmering barriers of moonlight. These barriers acted as a formidable defense, deflecting Jiang Chen's Azura attacks and creating opportunities for counteroffensives. Jiang Chen, not one to be outdone, as he utilized Azura Mirage ability. He used his spatial manipulation to create illusory duplicates of himself, each mirage capable of launching attacks. The mirages overwhelmed Wang Jian with their sheer numbers, making it challenging to discern the real Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen also utilized Lightning Rush ability. His lightning-infused speed was electrifying. He darted around the battlefield with astonishing agility, landing blows on Wang Jian that seemed almost impossible to evade. Their abilities clashed in a dazzling display of power and strategy. Suddenly, Jiang Chen unveiled a new ability, Azura Void Step. This technique allowed him to teleport instantaneously, appearing beside Wang Jian in the blink of an eye. He launched a ferocious Azura strike, hoping to catch Wang Jian off guard. Wang Jian, however, was always prepared. With a quick twist of his body, he executed the Blue Moon Eclipse dance, a move that allowed him to dance around Jiang Chen's attack. In the process, he unleashed a powerful Blue Moon Eclipse storm, a storm of moonlight and energy that engulfed Jiang Chen in its ethereal embrace. Jiang Chen was not one to back down either. He summoned his Azura clones, creating illusory duplicates that surrounded Wang Jian. Each clone prepared to explode, threatening to engulf Wang Jian in a cataclysmic blast. It was an all-or-nothing move, a final gambit to gain the upper hand in the battle. Wang Jian, however, was not to be outdone. He launched his moonlit annihilation, unleashing a barrage of lunar energy beams with surgical precision. Each beam homed in on the Azura clones, clashing in a stunning display of light and force. The moment the Azura clones were struck, they erupted in a massive explosion, generating a shockwave that engulfed the battlefield. The blast was so colossal that even the warriors at the farthest reaches of the battlefield were sent sprawling by the sheer force of it. Debris and energy rained down upon the soldiers, and the very earth shook beneath their feet. As the smoke and dust began to clear, Wang Jian and Jiang Chen emerged from the epicenter of the explosion. Their bodies were battered and bruised, bloodied and scarred, and both men were clearly wounded. Yet, they stood tall and unwavering, their determination and willpower unshaken. The battle had taken a devastating toll on both of them, but neither was willing to back down. Their auras, though weakened, still radiated an unyielding energy, a silent declaration that they were far from finished. The warriors on the battlefield looked on in amazement, their respect for these two Saint Realm experts growing with each passing moment. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen, their bodies battered and weary, were about to continue their epic battle when the heavens above them seemed to crack open. Powerful and intense holy arrows descended from the sky with unparalleled speed, striking both of them with precision. The holy arrows, infused with divine energy, were devastating to the two Saint Realm experts in their devil forms. They pierced through their defenses, causing searing pain and significant damage. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen were left shocked and bewildered by this sudden attack. They gazed upwards, and their eyes widened as they beheld the sight of angels descending from the heavens. Two celestial figures, radiant and majestic, touched down on the battlefield. The first was a Saint Realm holy angel known as Angel Eleanor, her presence exuding a divine and sacred aura. Beside her stood Angel Abigail, an equally powerful and holy being. The two angels, having descended to the battlefield, had woven a Saint Realm angelic barrier that encompassed the area, sealing off any means of escape for Jiang Chen or Wang Jian. The barrier pulsed with sacred holy energy, threatening to annihilate anyone who dared to breach it. As they gazed at the trapped Saint Realm experts, Angel Eleanor spoke with a sense of purpose. "It is rather fortuitous that we have found both of you here, for you are indeed threats to the harmony and sanctity of our realms. It is only fitting that we bring about your end together, ending the menace you pose to our worlds." Angel Abigail nodded in agreement, her eyes filled with unwavering determination. The forces of darkness have no place within the dominion of the angels. It is time to cleanse this battlefield of your presence, once and for all. The two angels raised their hands, their holy energy intensifying, as they prepared to confront the formidable Saint Realm experts who had been battling so fiercely. As the angels unleashed their divine energy towards Wang Jian and Jiang Chen, the two devils didn't waste a moment. With a swift display of agility, they dodged the radiant attacks, their forms blurring with speed. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen each plucked the holy arrows that had struck them from their bodies, grimacing as they did so. With a mere glance, they understood that cooperation was their best chance of confronting these celestial beings. Without exchanging a single word, their minds synchronized as they coordinated their movements. As if guided by an unspoken understanding, they charged towards the two angels who had descended upon the battlefield. The angels were well prepared, as they reached for their weapons. Angel Eleanor held the celestial aegis, a magnificent shield that radiated with holy light. The shield possessed the ability to negate dark energies and demonic influences, making it the perfect defense against the likes of Wang Jian and Jiang Chen. Angel Abigail wielded the Seraphim Scepter, a staff imbued with the power of Seraphim. With it, she could channel heavenly energy and deliver purifying strikes capable of dispelling evil forces. The two angels braced themselves for the impending clash. The four powerful beings collided in a flurry of energy and might. Jiang Chen lunged at Angel Abigail with blinding speed, his azure wrath empowering his strikes. But Angel Abigail was no ordinary opponent. She wielded the Seraphim Scepter with grace, delivering radiant blows that met Jiang Chen's attacks head-on. The sky erupted in a dazzling clash of energy. Azure blades clashed with the Seraphim Scepter, creating sparks that illuminated the battlefield. Wang Jian faced Angel Eleanor with the moonlit parry guarding him. He moved with the grace of the moon, evading her initial strikes with fluid elegance. She thrust her celestial aegis forward, attempting to pierce through his defenses, but Wang Jian's moonlit annihilation unleashed a barrage of lunar energy beams that forced her to retreat. The battlefield was engulfed in a celestial and demonic storm, where each fighter used their unique abilities to gain an upper hand. Jiang Chen's Azure Soul projection attacked from all angles, forcing Angel Abigail to summon her Seraphim Halo, a protective barrier that deflected the mirages. But Jiang Chen's lightning rush allowed him to dart around the battlefield, landing calculated blows that kept her on the defensive. On the other side, Wang Jian countered Angel Eleanor's celestial aegis strikes with calculated maneuvers of his moonlit parry. As she summoned her celestial blessing, healing her wounds with divine light, Wang Jian used his moonlit embrace to create shimmering barriers that disrupted her control over the battle. The fight was a spectacle of divine and demonic power, a whirlwind of light and darkness. Jiang Chen unleashed his Azure seal, attempting to bind Angel Abigail with the chains of darkness. But she countered with the Seraphim Resonance, a harmonious energy that dispelled the bindings and sent ripples of celestial energy through Jiang Chen's form. Wang Jian continued to press his advantage, utilizing his moonlit parry to deflect Angel Eleanor's attacks. As she called upon her divine retribution, a devastating attack imbued with divine wrath, Wang Jian unleashed his moonlit counter, redirecting the assault back towards her. The battlefield became a chaotic arena of power, where the two sides struggled to gain the upper hand. But as the battle raged on, the angels' experience and divine abilities began to shine through. Angel Abigail used the Seraphim Scepter to channel holy energy, creating a radiant surge that weakened Jiang Chen's Azura transformation. She then launched the Seraphim Strike, a powerful blow that sent him reeling back. Angel Eleanor focused her energy and unleashed the Radiant Barrier, a holy aura that dispelled Wang Jian's lunar influence. The Celestial Fury attack sent a brilliant wave of energy that staggered Wang Jian. With their combined celestial power, the angels fought back the demonic onslaught. Angel Abigail invoked the Divine Resonance, creating a healing and protective barrier around her and her fellow angel. This energy negated Jiang Chen's Hell Lightning, nullifying the power of his attacks. Wang Jian, his moonlit parry weakening against the Radiant Barrier, found himself on the defensive. Angel Eleanor channeled her Celestial Judgment, a divine energy attack that disrupted Wang Jian's moonlit power. The battlefield was now bathed in celestial light, and the angels' dominance was evident. As they pressed their advantage, Angel Abigail invoked the Seraphim Ascendance, a move that expelled dark influences and demonic power. This had a profound effect on Jiang Chen, weakening his Azura transformation and making his attacks less effective. Angel Eleanor summoned the Celestial Nova, a radiant explosion of energy that sent Wang Jian tumbling backward. The celestial energy seared through his blue moon eclipse devil bloodline, leaving him weakened. Despite the formidable powers of the two devils, the angels' divine abilities began to turn the tide of battle. The angels demonstrated their mastery over the celestial realm, pushing back their demonic adversaries. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen, though gravely injured, remained defiant. Their determination was evident as they readied themselves for another round. With fierce determination in their eyes, Wang Jian and Jiang Chen prepared for another round of battle. Despite the angels' initial advantage, they were not about to surrender. The battlefield had become a chaotic symphony of divine and demonic power, with both sides ready to unleash their unique abilities. Jiang Chen, still in his Azura transformation, knew that he needed to adapt to counter the angels' divine onslaught. He activated his Azura domain, creating a spatial realm where he could manipulate the laws of lightning and the Azura realm. Within this domain, he hoped to gain the upper hand. Angel Abigail, aware of Jiang Chen's attempt to manipulate the battlefield, countered with the Seraphim domain. This created a space of seraphic power, where she controlled the environment and disrupted Jiang Chen's spatial manipulation. Her divine aura clashed with the dark energy of the Azura domain. Wang Jian, with his blue moon eclipse devil bloodline's abilities still active, used the moonlit suppression, a move that projected a field of moonlight around him. This had the effect of suppressing the angels' divine powers, making it more challenging for them to use their celestial abilities. But Angel Eleanor, ever resourceful, unleashed the celestial radiance. This divine attack dispersed Wang Jian's moonlit power, leaving him exposed. The celestial energy countered his lunar aura with its radiant brilliance. Get your Avrite Ovals at no/v/e/lbn.com. The battlefield's dynamics shifted again, as the celestial and demonic domains struggled for dominance. Jiang Chen's Azura Wrath created a shockwave of fear, but Angel Abigail's Seraphim Grace countered with a calming and soothing presence. The emotional influence of the Azura Wrath was disrupted, and the battlefield became less chaotic. The fight was a spectacle of divine and demonic power, a whirlwind of light and darkness. Jiang Chen unleashed his Azura Seal, attempting to bind Angel Abigail with the chains of darkness. But she countered with the Seraphim Resonance, a harmonious energy that dispelled the bindings and sent ripples of celestial energy through Jiang Chen's form. Wang Jian continued to press his advantage, utilizing his moonlit parry to deflect Angel Eleanor's attacks. As she called upon her divine retribution, a devastating attack imbued with divine wrath, Wang Jian unleashed his moonlit counter, redirecting the assault back towards her. The battlefield became a chaotic arena of power, where the two sides struggled to gain the upper hand. But as the battle raged on, the angels' experience and divine abilities began to shine through. Angel Abigail used the Seraphim Scepter to channel holy energy, creating a radiant surge that weakened Jiang Chen's Azura transformation. She then launched the Seraphim Strike, a powerful blow that sent him reeling back. Angel Eleanor focused her energy and unleashed the Radiant Barrier, a holy aura that dispelled Wang Jian's lunar influence. The Celestial Fury attack sent a brilliant wave of energy that staggered Wang Jian. With their combined celestial power, the angels fought back the demonic onslaught. Angel Abigail invoked the Divine Resonance, creating a healing and protective barrier around her and her fellow angel. This energy negated Jiang Chen's Hell Lightning, nullifying the power of his attacks. Wang Jian, his moonlit parry weakening against the Radiant Barrier, found himself on the defensive. Angel Eleanor channeled her Celestial Judgment, a divine energy attack that disrupted Wang Jian's moonlit power. The battlefield was now bathed in celestial light, and the angels' dominance was evident. As they pressed their advantage, Angel Abigail invoked the Seraphim Ascendance, a move that expelled dark influences and demonic power. This had a profound effect on Jiang Chen, weakening his Ashura transformation and making his attacks less effective. Angel Eleanor summoned the Celestial Nova, a radiant explosion of energy that sent Wang Jian tumbling backward. The celestial energy seared through his blue moon eclipse devil bloodline, leaving him weakened. Despite the formidable powers of the two devils, the angels' divine abilities began to turn the tide of battle. The angels demonstrated their mastery over the celestial realm, pushing back their demonic adversaries. Wang Jian and Jiang Chen, though gravely injured, remained defiant. Their determination was evident as they readied themselves for another round. With fierce determination in their eyes, Wang Jian and Jiang Chen prepared for another round of battle. Despite the angels' initial advantage, they were not about to surrender. The battlefield had become a chaotic symphony of divine and demonic power, with both sides ready to unleash their unique abilities. Jiang Chen, still in his Ashura transformation, knew that he needed to adapt to counter the angels' divine onslaught. He activated his Ashura domain, creating a spatial realm where he could manipulate the laws of lightning and the Ashura realm. Within this domain, he hoped to gain the upper hand. Angel Abigail, aware of Jiang Chen's attempt to manipulate the battlefield, countered with the Seraphim domain. This created a space of seraphic power, where she controlled the environment and disrupted Jiang Chen's spatial manipulation. Her divine aura clashed with the dark energy of the Ashura domain. Wang Jian, with his blue moon eclipse devil bloodline's abilities still active, used the moonlit suppression, a move that projected a field of moonlight around him. This had the effect of suppressing the angels' divine powers, making it more challenging for them to use their celestial abilities. But Angel Eleanor, ever resourceful, unleashed the celestial radiance. This divine attack dispersed Wang Jian's moonlit power, leaving him exposed. The celestial energy countered his lunar aura with its radiant brilliance. Get your Avrite Ovals at no/v/e/lbn.com. The battlefield's dynamics shifted again, as the celestial and demonic domains struggled for dominance. Jiang Chen's Ashura Wrath created a shockwave of fear, but Angel Abigail's Seraphim Grace countered with a calming and soothing presence. The emotional influence of the Ashura Wrath was disrupted, and the battlefield became less chaotic. Wang Jian attempted to use his moonlit parry, guiding the serene power of the moon, but Angel Eleanor countered with the celestial dance. Her graceful movements and divine energy disrupted the moonlit influence, leaving Wang Jian on the defensive. As the battle raged on, Jiang Chen realized that he needed to draw upon the full extent of his abilities. He unleashed his Ashura sword, a blade of lightning and Ashura energy that cut through anything. The sword morphed and emitted various effects, including bolts of lightning and Ashura flames. Angel Abigail was quick to respond with her Seraphim Shield, a divine barrier that protected her from Jiang Chen's attacks. The celestial shield absorbed the lightning bolts and Ashura flames, negating their destructive power. Wang Jian, struggling to regain his advantage, invoked the Blue Moon Tempest. This unleashed a tempest of moonlit energy and stormy chaos. The winds and lunar energy disrupted the angels' abilities, creating an opportunity for Wang Jian to mount a counteroffensive. Angel Eleanor responded with the celestial whirlwind, creating a radiant storm of divine energy. The celestial tempest clashed with the moonlit chaos, creating a mesmerizing display of elemental power. Jiang Chen realized he needed to try a different approach. He utilized his Azura clone, creating illusory duplicates of himself to act as decoys and confuse the angels. The Azura clones charged the angels, forcing them to divide their attention. Angel Abigail, wielding the Seraphim scepter, invoked the Seraphim storm, a swirling vortex of holy energy that disrupted the Azura clones. The celestial storm dissipated the illusory duplicates and weakened Jiang Chen's attacks. Wang Jian, still striving to turn the tide, activated the moonlit surge. He harnessed the power of the moon to surge forward, striking with swift and precise attacks. The moonlit surge challenged the angels' defenses, forcing them to react quickly. Angel Eleanor employed the celestial ward, summoning protective barriers of divine energy. These barriers shielded her and Angel Abigail from Wang Jian's attacks, creating a defensive front against the lunar onslaught. As the battle continued to unfold, Jiang Chen prepared to unleash a powerful finishing move. He summoned his Azura Void Step, teleporting instantaneously beside Angel Abigail with the aim to deliver a devastating blow. Angel Abigail, however, was quick to react. She activated the Seraphim Reckoning, a divine power that enveloped her in a protective aura. The seraphic energy absorbed Jiang Chen's attack, negating the full force of the Azura strike. Wang Jian utilized his moonlit devastation, an overwhelming display of lunar energy and stormy chaos that engulfed the battlefield. The moonlit devastation sought to overwhelm the angels' defenses and deal a significant blow. The angel's celestial nova, a radiant explosion of energy, met the moonlit devastation head-on. The celestial energy clashed with the lunar chaos, creating a brilliant and fierce confrontation that left the battlefield in chaos. As the epic battle reached its zenith, Jiang Chen found a brief moment to exchange words with Wang Jian. His voice, tinged with both exhaustion and a sense of amusement, reached Wang Jian's ears. "Well, Wang Jian, it seems we'll have to save the grand finale of our battle for another day," Jiang Chen remarked. With those words, Jiang Chen began to unleash a remarkable and mystifying attack known as the ethereal singularity. This technique defied ordinary explanation, seemingly bending the laws of reality. It birthed a localized void in the midst of their battleground, a void that greedily swallowed and distorted all the energies it encountered. This included the angels' impressive defensive measures. The angels, once confident in their protective barriers, gaped in astonishment as the ethereal singularity unraveled their defenses. The attack's unconventional effects bewildered even these celestial beings. Injured and their confidence shaken, the angels had no option but to dispel the protective barrier they had woven around Wang Jian and Jiang Chen. Their reluctance was palpable as they soared into the sky, retreating to their angelic sky city. In the midst of the ensuing chaos, Jiang Chen seized the opportunity created by his unconventional attack. As the angelic barrier dissipated, he made his exit, leaving the battlefield without a trace. He knew that the ethereal singularity had side effects that needed his attention, and he was in no mood to allow Wang Jian to exploit his temporary vulnerability. Wang Jian, now standing alone amid the remnants of their battle, couldn't help but release a sigh of frustration. Attempting to sense Jiang Chen's whereabouts was a futile endeavor. It became all too evident that Jiang Chen's grasp of spatial attributes was leagues beyond his own. It was a humbling realization that Jiang Chen was indeed a formidable and unpredictable opponent, one who would not be easily defeated. Wang Jian's attention swiftly returned to the battle against the elemental nexus Immortal Dominion and the barbarian race, determined to sever their connection to the earth veins. One by one, he moved towards the sources of their power. The experts of the barbarian race at the Saint Realm attempted to thwart his progress. Each of them, imbued with unique abilities befitting their heritage, launched themselves into the fight against Wang Jian. They believed that their combined might could defeat the enigmatic warrior. First among them was Zarek, a Saint Realm expert of the barbarian race. He possessed the Earthshaker's Fist, an ability that allowed him to manipulate seismic forces and cause devastating earthquakes. Zarek's goal was to unleash the fury of the earth itself upon Wang Jian. Another formidable adversary was Silja, a female Saint Realm warrior of the barbarian race. Her Windrider's gaze enabled her to control the winds and unleash cutting tornadoes. Silja sought to use her mastery over the air to ensnare Wang Jian within her tempest. Gorax, an imposing Saint Realm barbarian, had flame-forged resilience at his disposal. This power allowed him to become nearly impervious to fire and channel its destructive capabilities. Gorax aimed to turn Wang Jian's fiery strengths against him. These three Saint Realm experts of the barbarian race converged upon Wang Jian, determined to harness the elements of earth, air, and fire to their advantage. Yet, Wang Jian had not just his fiery abilities but also his lunar energy and storm energy, courtesy of the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil bloodline, at his disposal. The battle began with a spectacular clash of elements, as Wang Jian, in his transformed state, confronted Zarek, Silja, and Gorax. The earth trembled as they fought, and powerful earthquakes rippled through the battlefield. Zarek's Earthshaker's Fist sent shockwaves that threatened to disorient Wang Jian. Silja summoned turbulent tornadoes with her Windrider's gaze, intending to immobilize him within their whirling grasp. Meanwhile, Gorax invoked flame-forged resilience, seeking to utilize Wang Jian's fiery strength against him. Wang Jian, undeterred, harnessed the power of the moon and the storm, creating a counterbalance to their efforts. His Blue Moon Storm Devil domain merged effortlessly with the lunar energy and storm energy, granting him mastery over the elements. With remarkable precision, he unleashed his lunar powers to manipulate the tides, stirring vast storms with the flick of his hand. These violent tempests served both as defenses and weapons. As Zarek tried to summon another earthquake, Wang Jian redirected it with a swift motion, creating a protective wall of air that thwarted Silja's attempts to ensnare him in her tornadoes. Gorax's flame-forged resilience encountered a formidable opponent in Wang Jian's solar flames, leading to a fiery standoff that created a brilliant spectacle of blazing energy. The battlefield was a chaotic canvas of power and elements, as the clash of abilities and forces unfolded. Wang Jian, despite being outnumbered, managed to hold his ground and even counter their elemental onslaughts with his cunning use of the Blue Moon Eclipse Devil bloodline. Zarek's earth-shaking fist and Silja's Windrider's gaze met with resistance, their efforts dampened by Wang Jian's clever manipulation of the storm and lunar energy. Gorax's flame-forged resilience, though fierce, was met with Wang Jian's solar flames and blue moon energy, producing a mesmerizing display of elemental fireworks. As the battle raged on, Wang Jian remained composed and focused. He maneuvered skillfully, shifting from defense to offense, keeping the barbarian race's Saint Realm experts on their toes. Zarek, Silja, and Gorax began to feel the strain of the battle as they struggled to find weaknesses in Wang Jian's defense. With each passing moment, their energy waned, and their confidence began to waver. Despite their combined efforts and the elemental forces at their disposal, the three barbarian race experts found themselves hard-pressed to defeat Wang Jian. Wang Jian's attacks became an explosive display of power, obliterating Zarek, Silja, and Gorax in a blaze of destructive energy. Their end was swift and without mercy, leaving no room for respite or escape. First, Wang Jian unleashed the Blue Moon Eclipse Annihilation, a devastating technique that combined his moon element and storm attribute. The sheer force of this attack rendered Zarek powerless, the Earthshaker reduced to rubble. Next, he employed Lunar Storm Surge, summoning a tempest of lunar energy and hurling it at Silja. The force of the storm battered her, leaving her powerless against the onslaught. For Gorax, Wang Jian executed the Solar Storm Reckoning. Solar flames and storm energy combined in a cataclysmic wave that engulfed him, reducing his flame-forged resilience to ashes. With these attacks, Wang Jian not only defeated the trio of Saint Realm experts but also decimated a significant portion of the barbarian race's forces, making his path toward the Earth Veins clear. As he moved forward to sever the connection of the Earth veins with the barbarian race's immortal dominion, his purpose remained unwavering. The battlefield around him was a testament to his dominance. But just as he was on the brink of achieving his goal, an unexpected presence touched his senses. A spiritual entity reached out to him, imploring him to halt. It was the spirit of an ogre, the guardian spirit of the barbarian race's immortal dominion. The spirit of the ogre stood its ground, its ethereal presence radiating determination. "Stop! What would it take for you to give up on attacking my dominion?" it demanded. Wang Jian's cold response left no room for compromise. "Only if you submit to me." The spirit of the ogre snorted dismissively, clearly unwilling to accept such terms. "Impossible. Change your condition to something else," it retorted, a hint of defiance in its voice. News to rise at n/vel/b/i/n.co. Wang Jian remained resolute. "No," he replied firmly, his eyes fixed on the earth veins that connected the dominion to the source of its power. As he moved forward, he enveloped his arms with pure lunar energy, ready to sever the connection once and for all. As Wang Jian pressed forward, determined to sever the connection between the earth veins and the barbarian race's immortal dominion, the spirit of the ogre grew increasingly desperate. It issued a dire threat, its voice resonating with intensity. "I warn you, if you persist, I will initiate self-destruction. I will unleash a cataclysmic explosion that will obliterate the entire immortal dominion. You cannot comprehend the devastation it will bring." Wang Jian responded with a snort of defiance. "You think that threat will sway me? I am prepared for the consequences." While this intense standoff unfolded, each member of Wang Jian's forces held a special steel, a powerful artifact that acted as a teleportation array. The moment the order was given, these individuals could activate their steels, transporting themselves to a grand teleportation array located within the capital of the everlasting mystical empire. From there, they would have the means to teleport into the Verzen Empire of the northern states. The significance of this plan was clear. Even if the ogre spirit unleashed a detonation of unimaginable proportions, it couldn't breach the protective barriers separating different regions of the world. Thus, Wang Jian's forces would remain unscathed. In the face of the ogre spirit's dire threats and the impending detonation, Wang Jian remained resolute. He met the spirit's furious gaze with an unyielding resolve. "I care not for your detonation. The only way I shall allow an immortal dominion to exist within the southern region of this continent is if it bows to my authority," Wang Jian declared, his voice laced with unwavering determination. The ogre spirit's anger appeared to intensify. It seemed to grit its spectral teeth in frustration before it posed a question, albeit begrudgingly: "Would you withdraw your assault if we were to leave the southern region?" Wang Jian considered the proposition for a moment, contemplating the terms he would demand. Finally, he responded with a set of conditions: "If you wish to leave the southern region, there are terms you must fulfill. First and foremost, you must expel every member of the barbarian race from your immortal dominion. Secondly, you must abandon all resources and minions you have grown within this realm." The ogre spirit's spectral form seemed to hesitate, weighed down by the enormity of the sacrifice. Ejecting all members of the barbarian race from the immortal dominion would undoubtedly disrupt its delicate balance and create difficulties in managing the realm and developing its resources or minions. Leaving behind the resources and minions it had cultivated was no small price to pay. Wang Jian, unyielding in his stance, remained stern. "These are the conditions I set. There is no room for negotiation. This is the price you must pay if you seek the salvation of your immortal dominion." The ogre spirit had little choice but to acquiesce. In the face of Wang Jian's determination and the imminent danger, it agreed to the terms, though the bitterness of this agreement was palpable. With the resolution set, the cataclysmic detonation that once threatened everything was averted. The destiny of the barbarian race's immortal dominion teetered on the brink as the agreement's provisions took effect. As stipulated, the ogre spirit of the barbarian race's immortal dominion began executing a series of actions that would irrevocably change the course of the barbarian race's history. In a gut-wrenching scene, the spirit carried out its orders with a cold, mechanical precision. One after another, every member of the barbarian race was expelled from their immortal dominion. The moment was filled with heartache and anxiety as they faced the harsh reality of being torn away from the sanctuary that they once called home. No matter their strength or status, each barbarian race member was unceremoniously forced out, their cries of grief echoing through the air. Their hearts ached as the entrance to the immortal dominion closed behind them, sealing off their once protected haven. The aftermath of their expulsion sent shockwaves through the barbarian race. It felt as though the very ground had abandoned them, and fear and uncertainty clenched their hearts as they grappled with their new reality. However, the terms didn't end with the barbarian race's exile. Following Wang Jian's conditions, the ogre spirit began disgorging a trove of treasures, artifacts, and rare resources. These were the culmination of centuries of effort, painstakingly collected and preserved within the immortal dominion. The treasures included ancient relics, enchanted weaponry, mystical herbs, and extensive caches of precious ores and gemstones. Notable among the trove were items like the primal fire heart stones, blazing with fiery power and capable of enhancing the elemental power of the barbarians, and Heaven Soul Iron, an exceedingly rare Saint Realm material with which the Saint Realm barbarians made their weapons. These invaluable artifacts, along with myriad other treasures, were scattered across the desolate landscape. Then came the immortal dominion's minions, modest yet vital. While they weren't renowned for direct combat abilities, their auxiliary talents had significantly bolstered the barbarian race. Their flames had honed the barbarian race's physiques. They eliminated impurities while enhancing their physical might. Minions like the Flame Forgers, skilled in manipulating molten lava, and the Storm Callers, capable of controlling raging thunderclouds, were among those expelled from their homeland. Minions like the Flame Forgers, skilled in manipulating molten lava, and the Storm Callers, capable of controlling raging thunderclouds, were among those expelled from their homeland. With the immortal dominion's resources, artifacts, and minions stripped away, it began to ascend into the sky, a massive and timeless structure defying gravity. Its colossal presence cast a shadow over the desolate ground it had once graced. A profound abyss remained at the spot it vacated, an aching void in the heart of the southern region. The land itself seemed to grieve the absence of the immortal dominion, a void that once brimmed with power and vitality. Wang Jian and his contingent emerged before the disheartened barbarian race members. As they faced the oncoming tide of defiance, Wang Jian raised his voice, his tone resolute. "Barbarian race, it is time to acknowledge your new master. Submit, and your lives shall be spared." The words provoked an initial wave of defiance. Many members of the barbarian race met the declaration with defiant looks, refusing to bend to this newfound rule. In a fervent rush, they launched themselves into the fray, their anger and pride fueling their attack. But Wang Jian was no ordinary adversary. With a sheer display of unbridled strength, he overpowered them all, rendering their defiance futile. One by one, the barbarian race members crumpled before his might, their spirits humbled, and their resistance extinguished. The battle had made one thing clear: it was unwise to challenge the absolute authority of Wang Jian. With that, all of the members of the barbarian race were captured and thrown in dungeons across the many cities in the southern region. Now, Wang Jian could certainly claim to be the greatest ruler in the southern and northern regions of this continent. However, this fact didn't please him one bit. This was because in that battle against Jiang Qin, he understood that his strength was still only equal to that of Jiang Qin. And considering the fact that Jiang Qin was still in the process of recovering his complete battle prowess as his powers had been sealed into numerous artifacts, it made Wang Jian a bit cautious about facing him. It was from the mouths of the elf queen Alindra that Wang Jian came to know of the 7 artifacts that each race possessed which sealed Jiang Qin's abilities. The one containing the core strength of Jiangchen, which included many rare abilities along with the purest essence of his cultivation base, was kept by the heavenly court of the human race. The second was kept by the angel race, which contained a part of his cultivation and insights of laws of annihilation. The third was kept by the elven race, which contained a small part of his cultivation base along with his minor devil draconic bloodline. The fourth was kept by the sea monster race, which contained a small part of his cultivation along with the pure ice essence of the frost giant. The fifth was kept by the barbarian race, which contained a small part of his cultivation along with his pure flame essence of vermilion bird. The sixth was kept by the giant race, which contained a small part of his cultivation along with his heavenly Azura devil bloodline. And the final one was kept by the dwarven race, which contained a small part of his cultivation along with his hell lightning essence. According to his battle against Jiangchen, Wang Jian guessed that Jiangchen had only recovered the artifacts containing his power from the dwarven race and the giant race. This meant that he had 5 more to go. And considering how Wang Jian had forced the ogre spirit to leave behind all treasures and resources of the barbarian race, the artifact that contained pure essence of Jiangchen was also among them. Ad new chapter rs on no/v/e/ellen.com. It didn't take long for Wang Jian to find that artifact. This was because it contained a similar qi signature as that of Jiangchen. This was actually a small bangle. Once he found it, Wang Jian tried to absorb the energy within this bangle, but unfortunately, there was no response. Even the system was helpless, as it seemed that if the seal of this bangle was broken, this energy would return straight to Jiangchen. There was just no way around it. It couldn't be absorbed forcibly. Wang Jian wasn't overly disappointed. It was the same thing that occurred when he tried to absorb the energy from the artifact that the elves safeguarded. After testing out his luck, Wang Jian wrapped his lunar energy around it to ensure its aura wouldn't leak out before storing it within his spatial ring. The bangle was soon sent to the elven forest within the northern region. Wang Jian knew that if he kept it in the southern region, it would just be telling Jiangchen to come and attack him. It would be a huge threat to his empire. But the elven forest was different. It was an immortal dominion, and there were lots of ways Wang Jian could use the immortal dominion to defend against Jiangchen's attacks if he ever did attack someday. Now, as Jiangchen made his return to the elemental nexus immortal dominion, he was in a sorry state. His body was disintegrating, blood oozing from every pore, and internal organs showing signs of rupture. These injuries weren't solely the aftermath of his duel with Wang Jian, most had been inflicted during the use of his devastating ethereal singularity. Ethereal singularity was an attack typically reserved for immortal realm experts, as it demanded the use of heaven and earth essence to create and maintain the void. However, Jiangchen had substituted that essence with the qi from his sea of qi, his blood essence, and even a portion of his vitality. Even then, the strain on his physical form had been immense, almost beyond endurance. Yet, he had managed to return to the elemental nexus immortal dominion. Although his condition was dire, Jiangchen was well equipped to heal himself swiftly. He possessed an array of techniques for that purpose, and it simply required the sacrifice of numerous beings with substantial life force. Luckily, such individuals were abundant within his elemental nexus immortal dominion. On that fateful day, nearly 10,000 beings, including humans and sea monsters, met their untimely demise under mysterious circumstances. After his recovery, Jiangchen spent some time contemplating the entire incident. He pondered Wang Jian's strength and, with a slight frown, considered, his strength is quite impressive. His insights into the laws are commendable, especially for someone who has yet to break through to immortal realm cultivation. As he replayed the battle in his mind, Jiangchen concluded that Wang Jian, while formidable, wasn't a substantial long-term threat. If I can regain more of my energy from one more artifact, I can easily defeat him. As his thoughts shifted, Jiangchen's attention turned to the angels. He couldn't help but acknowledge, those angels were certainly troublesome. Soon, he made up his mind. I should take care of them next. As time passed, Jiang Qin gathered his entire force. This formidable assembly included the human experts from the western deserts, talented individuals from the smaller sects affiliated with him in the central region, the skilled dwarven experts specializing in arrays and artifact crafting, along with the fierce members of the Heavenly Azura Devil race and the Oceanic Tempest Storm Devil race. The beast race of the central region, led by the majestic golden-eyed black dragon, also joined their ranks. With his forces assembled, Jiang Qin had a clear objective in mind. His plan was to initiate a bold attack on the angelic Sky City, the residence of the angels. As the integration of the barbarian race experts into Wang Jian's forces progressed, Wang Jian couldn't help but notice the significant respect they held for strength. His own formidable power had earned him their admiration, but this sentiment didn't seem to extend to his subordinates. In order to prevent any potential issues or disputes, Wang Jian decided to take a proactive approach. He knew that in order to ensure the cooperation of the barbarian race members, they needed a more concrete form of control. So, he assigned this task to 4 talented dwarven individuals known for their ingenuity. Sitting with the dwarven talents in their workshop, Wang Jian discussed the development of a special control mechanism, which he referred to as a slave seal. The purpose of this seal was to maintain order and ensure the barbarian race members followed his commands without rebellion. The dwarves, known for their expertise in crafting and forging, enthusiastically took up the challenge. They discussed the details with Wang Jian, brainstorming ways to modify and adapt a conventional human slave seal for this specific situation. One of the dwarves, Glimmerstone, a renowned artifact crafter, spoke up, his voice laced with confidence. "We can make this work, Wang Jian. It'll take some fine-tuning, but we'll develop a slave seal that can effectively control the barbarian race." Wang Jian nodded in agreement. "Excellent. Make sure that it's strong enough to deter any thoughts of rebellion. We need to keep everything in order and avoid any chaos." Over the next few days, the dwarves worked tirelessly on the design and construction of the slave seal. They modified the basic template to account for the unique traits and behaviors of the barbarian race members. The seal would be both a symbol of authority and a means of enforcing obedience. Once the design was finalized, Wang Jian observed as they began crafting the actual seal. The precise work involved intricate symbols and runes, all specifically chosen to enhance its effectiveness on the barbarian race. They tested it on a barbarian race member who had displayed resistance, and the result was impressive. The seal's power compelled the individual to obey Wang Jian's command without hesitation. Wang Jian couldn't help but be satisfied with the outcome. With the slave seal ready, Wang Jian addressed his subordinates. "We have created a means to maintain order and cooperation among us. This slave seal will help ensure that there are no issues in controlling the barbarian race members. I want you to take complete advantage of this and use the barbarian race members as best as you can." As Wang Jian revealed the newly created slave seal to his assembled subordinates, a sense of excitement and anticipation filled the room. Their nods and expressions conveyed their delight, and some even whispered words of approval. Wang Jian's measures were met with approval, and it was clear that they saw the necessity and wisdom in such a decision. Embracing the satisfaction in the room, Wang Jian turned his attention to the talented dwarven artisans who had crafted the slave seal. "You've done an excellent job," he praised them. "Now, I have another task for you. We need to bolster our defenses and arm ourselves for any potential threats. I want you to construct a series of weapons, focusing on cannons, crossbows, and other projectile-based weaponry." The dwarves, renowned for their craftsmanship and ingenuity, eagerly accepted the new challenge. They understood the importance of preparing for the defense of their territory and were more than willing to lend their expertise. With the dwarves already engaged in planning and designing the weapons, Wang Jian made his way back to the palace. There, he sought the company of his beloved empress, Su Xian. He cherished these moments with her and enjoyed sharing his thoughts and concerns with the one person he trusted above all. As they roamed the grand halls of the palace, Wang Jian spoke intimately with Su Xian, their voices a gentle murmur within the palace's opulent walls. He recounted the recent events, including the creation of the slave seal and the ongoing preparations for defense. Over a sumptuous meal, Wang Jian leaned in, gazing into Su Xian's eyes. "You know, my love, I've been thinking. The sea monsters are next on our list. It's time we made preparations for our offensive." Empress Su Xian met his gaze with understanding. "I trust your judgment, my emperor. We will stand by your side and support you in whatever endeavor you choose." Read the latest stories and novelbin.com. Wang Jian's heart swelled with affection for his wife. He placed a gentle kiss on her hand, With a thoughtful expression, Su Xian gently broached a pressing issue. "My emperor, there are some matters that require your attention. Our empire is vast, and with its growth comes certain challenges. One of the issues we face is related to the Elysian Blossoms organization." Wang Jian's brow furrowed with concern. "What's happening with the Elysian Blossoms organization, my love?" Su Xian explained, under Lady Xiao's leadership, the organization has thrived and provided an array of health and beauty products crafted from rare herbs. However, it has recently faced backlash and allegations regarding the quality of its products. The noble women of our empire, who are their primary customers, have raised concerns about the effectiveness and safety of these products. It threatens to tarnish the reputation of both the organization and our empire. Wang Jian nodded, grateful for Su Xian's diligence in staying informed about the empire's affairs. "We'll need to address this issue swiftly and maintain the trust of our people. We'll conduct a thorough investigation and ensure the safety and quality of these products." Su Xian smiled, her eyes reflecting her admiration for her husband. "I've also considered another matter. This means that we should completely abolish the sects in our empire and distribute their techniques and make it accessible to the general populace of the empire. Although we will be making all the sects our enemy, this will ensure that our citizens can grow quickly and contribute to the growth and security of our empire. It will also make us stand out in this vast land." Wang Jian nodded in agreement, recognizing the wisdom in her words. "Indeed, my love, we should ensure that our people have access to the best knowledge and training. I'll make arrangements to acquire advanced cultivation methods and techniques from the Verzen Empire. Let's establish branches of the martial academies across our empire, dedicated to enhancing the growth of our citizens. I'll also reach out to the elven race to see if they can provide their expertise in training our people." And so, the seeds of transformation were sown, leading to the birth of the everlasting Royal Martial Academy, a symbol of progress that would replace the sect system. The academy was generously funded by the royal family, and its branches spread across the entire everlasting mystical empire, each ready to educate countless students. Wang Jian was determined to attract the best talents to nurture these young minds, regardless of the path they chose. "We'll offer fair compensation to our teachers, making sure they are well rewarded for their contributions." These changes in the empire's educational system promised a brighter future, with opportunities abounding for countless individuals to shine in the martial path, alchemy, blacksmithing, and countless other crafts. The citizens of the everlasting mystical empire would now have a chance to mold their destinies and rise to greatness. With a resolute determination, Wang Jian and Su Xian set their grand plan in motion. They issued a decree that sent shockwaves throughout the everlasting mystical empire. It was a seismic shift in the empire's structure and the end of an era. All the sects, some of which had existed for centuries, were to be disbanded, and the empire would establish everlasting royal martial academies in their place. The news was met with mixed reactions from the citizens and sects of the empire. While many welcomed the change, some of the more powerful sects vehemently opposed the decision. The Celestial Dragon Sect, the Heavenly Blade Sect, and the Jade Serpent Sect, the pillars of the old system, led the resistance. Wang Jian understood the need to handle the situation with both strength and subtlety. His first step was to offer incentives for cooperation. He summoned representatives from the rebellious sects and proposed a deal. They would disband voluntarily and become part of the everlasting Royal Martial Academies. Those who chose this path would retain their status and be allowed to contribute to the new system. UWEvils on nov/l/bi.com. For those who refused, Wang Jian wielded his might. He showcased the power of the Empire's royal guards, made up of experts he had assembled over the years. With a combination of strength, clever negotiations, and strategic alliances, he systematically neutralized the rebellious sects one by one. The key was to ensure they couldn't regroup or resist effectively. Some sects were offered prestigious positions in the academies, some were absorbed, and others were forced to disband. As Wang Jian remained resolute in his resolve, the remnants of the opposition ultimately crumbled. The sect system, once deeply entrenched, was abolished from the everlasting mystical empire. The empire embarked on a new journey, with the everlasting Royal Martial Academies becoming the new heart of the nation's education and progress. With the matter of the sects resolved, Wang Jian turned his attention to the issues plaguing the Elysian Blossoms organization. He made his way to Lady Xiao's chamber, where only a select few knew about their discreet liaisons. Lady Xiao's chamber was a sumptuous sanctuary, perfumed with exotic fragrances and adorned with luxurious silks. Her attire, while conservative, accentuated her voluptuous form, hugging her generous curves and highlighting her ample bosom and shapely buttocks. As Wang Jian entered, his gaze roamed over her appreciatively, his thoughts momentarily straying from the matters at hand. "Lady Xia," he purred, a wicked grin spreading across his lips. "It's been too long." Lady Xiao's eyes sparkled with mischief as she rose to greet him, her attire an alluring dance of silk and lace. "My lord," she cooed in a voice that dripped with sensuality. "I've missed your visits." Their meeting would serve a dual purpose, though the matters of the Elysian Blossoms organization were far from the forefront of their minds. They embraced their clandestine affair, a passion that burned as fiercely as ever, momentarily setting aside the weight of empire and duty. Wang Jian's hands roamed over Lady Xiao's curvaceous form, grazing her supple skin with a possessive touch. He cupped her breasts, feeling the weight of her soft mounds in his palms, and teased her nipples with his thumbs. Her breath hitched as he pinched and pulled, eliciting moans of pleasure from her lips. With a growl, Wang Jian lifted her into his arms, carrying her to the bed. He laid her down gently, his body hovering over hers. His fingers traced the outline of her thighs, teasing the sensitive flesh before dipping lower to caress her wet core. Lady Xia arched her back, her hips bucking against his hand. "My lord," she whispered, her voice husky with desire. "Please." Without further prompting, Wang Jian positioned himself between her legs. He thrust into her, filling her with his thick cock. Lady Xia cried out, her nails digging into his shoulders as she met his rhythm. Wang Jian's lips found her ear, his breath hot against her skin. "You're so fucking tight," he groaned, his voice rough with lust. "Say it, Xia. Tell me how much you want this." Lady Xiao's reply was a muffled moan as Wang Jian's cock pounded into her. "Yes," she panted. "I want it. I need it." Their bodies moved together in a frenzy of passion, each stroke more intense than the last. Wang Jian's hands roamed freely over Lady Xiao's body, squeezing her breasts and pinching her nipples. He gripped her hips, pulling her closer to him as he drove deeper into her. Lady Xiao's moans grew louder, her back arching off the bed. She clutched at Wang Jian's shoulders, her nails digging into his skin as she approached her climax. "My lord," she cried out, her voice breaking. "I'm going to come." Wang Jian's thrusts became more urgent, his own climax near. With a growl, he slammed into her, filling her completely. His hips bucked wildly, and with a shout, he released his seed deep inside her. Lady Xiao's body convulsed around him, her orgasm shaking her to her core. She cried out his name as her own release washed over her. As their bodies calmed, Wang Jian rolled off of her, his chest heaving. He lay beside her, their sweat-slicked bodies entwined. That was intense, Lady Xiao panted, a smile playing on her lips. Wang Jian chuckled, running a hand through his sweat-dampened hair. Indeed it was, he replied, his eyes locked on hers. But we're not done yet. With that, he rolled her onto her stomach and entered her from behind. His hands roamed over her body, squeezing her breasts and pinching her nipples. Lady Xia arched her back, moaning as he drove into her from behind. Their lovemaking continued in a frenzy of passion, their bodies moving together in a dance of desire. Wang Jian explored every inch of Lady Xiao's body, leaving no part untouched. He teased her with his tongue, licking and sucking her nipples and clit until she was writhing beneath him. Lady Xiao's moans filled the room, and her hips bucked against Wang Jian's thrusts. She cried out his name as she climaxed again, her body shuddering with pleasure. Wang Jian followed soon after, his own release sending a wave of bliss through his body. They collapsed onto the bed, spent and satisfied. As they lay together, Lady Xiao's hand found its way to Wang Jian's cock, which was still hard and throbbing. With a wicked smile, she took him into her mouth, sucking him deep. Wang Jian groaned, his hips bucking involuntarily. Wang Jian's hand reached down, smacking Lady Xiao's sexy buttocks. She moaned around his cock, her eyes rolling back in pleasure. He continued to spank her, moving his hand to her breasts. He pinched and pulled on her nipples, causing her to cry out. Lady Xiao loved every bit of it. She bobbed her head faster, sucking him deeper as she felt his cock throbbing against the back of her throat. Her fingers dug into his thighs, urging him to go harder. As she sucked him off, Wang Jian's hips bucked wildly. He groaned, his eyes rolling back in pleasure. His fingers tangled in her hair, holding her head still as he thrust into her mouth. Lady Xiao's moans grew louder, her body trembling with the force of his thrusts. She took him as deep as she could, her mouth stretched wide around his girth. Wang Jian exploded, filling her mouth with his hot seed. Lady Xiao swallowed every drop, her lips still wrapped around his cock. She continued to suck him, cleaning off his erect cock. As their breathing slowed, Lady Xiao leaned down to kiss Wang Jian's chest. That was incredible, she whispered, her voice hoarse with desire. Wang Jian chuckled, running his fingers through her hair. Indeed it was, he replied, his eyes locked on hers. But we're not done yet. With that, Lady Xia turned around once more and lowered her breasts onto Wang Jian's cock. She began to slide up and down, her breasts fucking him as she moaned in pleasure. Wang Jian groaned, his hands gripping her hips tightly. He thrust into her breasts, his cock sliding in and out of the soft flesh. Lady Xia loved every bit of it, the pain mingling with the pleasure as Wang Jian claimed her body one more time. Their lovemaking continued well into the night, their bodies moving together in a dance of desire. Wang Jian soon climaxed, spraying his hot cum onto Lady Xiao's sexy breasts and her face. She greedily licked his cum from her skin, moaning in appreciation. Wang Jian turned Lady Xiao's body, positioning her in doggy style. He thrust into her, his cock sliding in and out of her wetness. She moaned, arching her back as she met his rhythm. Their lovemaking intensified, their bodies moving together in perfect harmony. Wang Jian reached around to squeeze and pinch her nipples, sending shivers of pleasure through her. Lady Xia cried out, her orgasm washing over her as Wang Jian drove into her. He followed soon after, his release sending shockwaves through her body. Wang Jian pulled out his erect and drenched cock from her pussy. The lustful look in his eyes had still not been sated. Noticing this, Lady Xia rolled onto her stomach and presented her ass to Wang Jian. He grinned, his cock seemingly hardening even more at the sight of her sexy behind. He positioned himself behind her and thrust into her, filling her with his thick cock. Lady Xia moaned, her body arching off the bed as she met his rhythm. Wang Jian's hands roamed freely over her body. She cried out, her orgasm washing over her as Wang Jian drove into her. They continued this for the entire night. As dawn approached, they collapsed onto the bed, exhausted but satisfied. The following morning, after their intense night, Wang Jian and Lady Xia got themselves ready for the day ahead. They donned their best attire, concealing any traces of their passionate rendezvous from the world. Wang Jian looked every bit the mighty emperor, while Lady Xia exuded elegance and grace. In her chamber, the opulent surroundings were a far cry from the fervor of their night together. Wang Jian cradled Lady Xia in his arms, his fingers tracing absent-minded patterns on her skin as they delved into the issues plaguing the Elysian Blossoms organization. Lady Xia heaved a soft sigh, her head resting on Wang Jian's chest. "Darling," she began, her tone tinged with concern, "the organization is in a bit of a pickle. It seems that some small factions across the everlasting mystical empire have started peddling fake Elysian Blossoms products." Wang Jian's grip on her tightened, a frown creasing his features. "Fake stuff? Seriously?" His eyebrows knitted together with worry. Lady Xia nodded, her fingers idly playing with the fabric of his robe. "Indeed, love. The knockoff products are shoddy, and folks have quickly caught on to the ruse. It's smearing the good name of the Elysian Blossoms organization." Wang Jian's annoyance simmered, and he was resolute about tackling the problem. He leaned in for a kiss, not letting his concerns fully cloud their moments together. "I've got this," he affirmed with determination. "No one's going to tarnish your organization's name, mark my words." Lady Xiao's eyes gleamed with gratitude as she gazed into his determined eyes. Her fingers brushed his cheek affectionately. "Thank you, my emperor. Your attention means the world to me." Wang Jian was on a mission, ready to tackle the Elysian Blossoms organization's counterfeit troubles head-on. He quickly realized that this wasn't just a typical scam, it was an intricately designed scheme that needed careful untangling. The culprits behind the operation were no ordinary swindlers. Instead, they were the remnants of the human noble and royal families that once dominated the eastern seas. After suffering devastating defeats at the hands of the sea monsters, these folks had strategically moved to the central region, their sights set on reclaiming power and wealth. The humans were playing their cards carefully, opting for the southern region as their target. The northern region was an impenetrable fortress, guarded by the elven race's immortal dominion, while the western region was already claimed by the dwarven and giant races. So, it was the thriving everlasting mystical empire in the south that had drawn their attention. The sham Elysian Blossoms products were just the tip of the iceberg, part of a vast network of deceptive operations. They dabbled in all sorts of shady dealings, from selling shoddy materials to weapons and armor that were barely fit for purpose. It was nothing short of daylight robbery, with the wealth of the southern region's people ending up in the hands of these audacious opportunists. To add fuel to the fire, their operations had triggered a significant rise in criminal activities throughout the everlasting mystical empire's territory. The humans' relentless greed and cunning strategies posed a dire threat to the region's overall stability and prosperity. Wang Jian wasn't about to let those sneaky noble families keep up with their tricky business. He knew it would mess up his empire's growth and stability big time. So, he decided it was time to end their little charade once and for all. He told the three sects of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion to get into action. They had a clear mission: hunt down every last member of those noble families behind the whole counterfeit racket and bring them to face justice. Wang Jian was dead set on making sure these folks paid for what they'd done. Messing with his empire? Yeah, they'd bitten off way more than they could chew. Capturing those human noble and royal families from the eastern seas turned out to be quite the cakewalk for the three sects of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion. Although these families had some backing from the three sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Dominion, it seemed those sects didn't want to stir up too much trouble. So, in about a week, every member from those families was lined up in front of Wang Jian in the Grand Hall, awaiting their fate. Wang Jian's gaze bore into the assembled individuals with a mix of disdain and fury. "You fools," he spat, his voice tinged with anger. "You never should have dared to target my empire." The noble and royal families, now apprehensive, exchanged uneasy glances among themselves. They realized they had underestimated the resolve of the emperor they had thought to outwit. Wang Jian continued, his words laced with contempt. "For your arrogance and greed, I will make sure your families pay dearly." He paused for a moment, letting the weight of his threat sink in. "You will all be bound by a bloodline contract, one that will make your entire bloodline slaves to me and my descendants. You will serve my empire and my people for generations to come, and your wealth and power will be forever at our disposal." The shock and despair on their faces were evident. As the members of the captured families begrudgingly signed the bloodline contract, a palpable sense of unease settled upon them. The contract seemed to come alive, manifesting ethereal reddish chains that coiled around their necks. These otherworldly chains had their other ends linked directly to Wang Jian, sealing their servitude with eerie symbolism. For a brief moment, the chains emitted an unsettling, faint glow, casting an eerie atmosphere in the Grand Hall. Then, just as quickly, they vanished. The feeling of restraint, however, lingered as a constant reminder of their newfound status as slaves to the empire. What transpired next was nothing short of a bombshell for the captive families. Wang Jian issued a shocking order, commanding that the women among them be handed over to his personal soldiers, regardless of their familial roles. Daughters, mothers, and wives became objects of desire for these soldiers, who were more than willing to accept the unexpected gifts. The most exquisite and captivating women among the group were reserved for Wang Jian himself. He intended to fully enjoy their beauty. The captive families were left in stunned disbelief, overwhelmed by the consequences of their actions. They had never fathomed that their schemes would lead to such a devastating and humiliating outcome. As the unexpected events unfolded within the Grand Hall of the everlasting mystical empire, a new development was occurring in a distant corner of the central region. The barbarian race's immortal dominion, now devoid of any of its members, resources, or minions, had established a presence in this new territory. The ogre spirit of the immortal dominion had shrewdly connected itself to the soul earth vein in the region. It was determined to bide its time, slowly recuperate the immortal dominion's lost resources and minions, and eventually exact its revenge on Wang Jian for his actions. However, the grandiosity of Wang Jian's empire remained a formidable obstacle, and the ogre spirit knew that its plan for vengeance would require time and patience. But it was willing to wait, with the earth veins serving as its conduit for power and resurgence. Amidst the swirl of change in different corners of the world, things were getting pretty interesting. Down below, in the deep, dark ocean, the sea monsters decided it was high time to make a splash. These aquatic enigmas had been lurking beneath the waves for eons, and they figured it was about time to show their faces. New sea monster clans emerged from the depths, and it was pretty clear they meant business, finned the new st-ovals on n/velben.com. They were gearing up for a head-on showdown with the three sects over in the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary. Out in the open sea, you could almost taste the tension in the salty air. But the immortal dominion of the Radiant Oasis wasn't one to back down. They were ready to defend their turf, and it looked like the ultimate battle for the immortal dominion was about to kick off. Over in a completely different corner of reality, the ever-resolute Jiangchen was switching gears. Jiangchen was gearing up for an epic face-off with these high-flying angels. He'd rallied his troops, and they were all ready now. The angelic sky city was like a floating fortress of power and grace, but that wasn't about to slow them down. His first goal was to bring the angelic sky city down to earth, quite literally. He understood this wasn't going to be a walk in the park. Unlike typical immortal dominions, the angelic sky city had an indirect link with the earth veins. It was part of a complex network of connections, forming a potent angelic array formation. Breaking through this ancient and formidable array was a task not even Jiang Chen and his entire force could manage. So, he had another strategy up his sleeve. Jiang Chen's audacious plan to lower the angelic sky city to the ground was set in motion. He was well aware that the angelic sky city's immortal dominion posed a formidable challenge, one that needed to be neutralized for his daring scheme to succeed. And so, he ordered the Silver Azura Devil Dominion, which he commanded, to clash head-on with the angelic sky city's immortal dominion. The strategy was quite straightforward. The relentless assault of the Silver Azura Devil Dominion served a dual purpose. First, it weakened the protective barrier around the angelic sky city's immortal dominion, rendering it vulnerable to attack. Second, it forced the immortal spirit that managed the angelic sky city's immortal dominion to focus on defending against the ceaseless onslaught, diverting its attention away from Jiang Chen and his forces. Jiang Chen led his diverse and formidable troops, each equipped with powerful dwarven artifacts, weapons, and armor that had been intricately enchanted with special talismans. His allies included the mighty golden-eyed black dragon and his loyal beasts, towering representatives of the giant race, and powerful experts from the Heavenly Azura Devil Clan and the Oceanic Tempest Storm Devil Clan, along with all their subordinate devil clans among the devil race. Additionally, human experts from the vast empires of the Western Desert contributed their strength to the cause. The skies above the angelic sky city were a blazing battleground, illuminated by the fiery breath of dragons and the resounding steps of the giants. The devils conjured tempestuous storms and unleashed torrents of demonic chi, while the human forces from the Western Desert employed their tactical expertise. The forces, armed with their potent dwarven artifacts, fought tenaciously as they closed in on the angelic sky city. Amidst the fierce conflict, they pressed forward, each blow striking with increased strength thanks to their enchanted weapons and armor. The talismans wove protective barriers around them, shielding them from the angelic sky city's celestial defenders. The battle between the devils and the angels was turning out to be quite the head-scratcher. It was like a game of rock-paper-scissors gone wild. The angels wielded their holy attribute, which was like a divine banhammer against the devil's infernal power. But here's the twist, the angels were getting a taste of their own medicine when it came to the beasts and giants. These two races were a force of nature, and their attributes packed a wallop that seriously messed with the angelic holy attribute. Now, you might think numbers matter most in a rumble, but the angels had quality on their side. Their top-tier experts, decked out in celestial couture, brought an air of grace to the battle. They weren't just winged wonders, they were a class apart. But let's not forget the home field advantage, which was akin to handing out energy drinks in the middle of the brawl. The angelic sky city's immortal dominion was a giant battery pack, juicing up the angel crew, patching them up, and sending them back into the battlefield. This advantage created a considerable impact on the battlefield. The battlefield was a chaotic dance of divine and diabolic power, where Saint Realm angels, resplendent with celestial radiance, showcased their awe-inspiring prowess. They channeled their holy chi with exquisite grace, their angelic wings shimmering with an ethereal brilliance as they wove intricate patterns in the heavens. Their armor, adorned with symbols of unwavering faith, seemed to draw strength from the very heavens they represented. Among the angelic ranks, the archangel Seraphius stood as a beacon of angelic might. He bore the heaven's grace lance, a weapon drenched in the purest saint light. With a thrust, ethereal beams surged from the lance, skewering through the devil clan's defenses. His abilities were no less breathtaking. The holy flare burst erupted as torrents of radiant energy, engulfing the devils and beasts in divine fire. The sanctified vortex unleashed a maelstrom of holy power, sweeping away all impurity in its path. However, the Saint Realm angels were not mere vessels of grace, they were formidable warriors. The resplendent aegis was their shield of faith, a protective barrier formed of intense saint light that encased them. It deflected incoming attacks and mitigated the impact of blows, rendering the angels nearly impervious. On the other side of the tumultuous battlefield, the golden-eyed black dragon, Jiang Chen's trump card, loomed with dark majesty. At the very peak of the Saint Realm, the black dragon's colossal form was a juggernaut, its obsidian scales absorbing light, giving it an aura of otherworldly power. The dragon's repertoire of deadly abilities was nothing short of breathtaking. The umbral storm fury manifested a swirling vortex of pure darkness that absorbed and dispelled angelic attacks with an eerie grace. The abyssal roar was an ear-splitting bellow that shattered the very fabric of reality, leaving the angels disoriented and vulnerable. The dragon harnessed the void pulse breach, an ability that tore rifts in the very essence of existence. Its strikes were empowered by an otherworldly might, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Amid this celestial and infernal clash, the Devil Saints in Jiang Chen's forces wielded ancient Devil Saint weapons. These weapons, each a symbol of their Devil clan's heritage, resonated with dark power. The Soul Flame Glaive, Demon Shroud Scythe, and Infernal Blazing Flail were among the devastating relics etched in the annals of Devil history. As the angels unleashed their celestial onslaught, the devils responded in kind. Their array formations, infused with potent devil chi, served as a counter to the angelic assault. The devil fire barrage rained down, transforming the battlefield into a sea of sinister flames, engulfing the angels and erasing their ethereal light. The devil saints, strategically deployed, disrupted the angelic array formations, creating calculated chaos. In this relentless struggle, the archdemon Astaroth emerged as a malevolent force. His demonic embrace manipulated the very essence of shadows, casting darkness across the battlefield and snuffing out the angelic light. The consumed soul grasp reached into the hearts of the angels, sapping their strength and shrouding them in despair. In response, the angels adapted to the ever-evolving chaos. Archangel Seraphius called upon the celestial resurgence, a maneuver that drew upon their collective faith and the angelic bond. It revitalized their ranks and reignited their celestial fervor. Desperation fueled the archdemon Viper, and he unleashed the maelstrom of despair, a hurricane of sorrow. It threatened to erode the angels' resolve, leaving them dispirited and their movements sluggish. The tide of battle swayed back and forth as the immense strength of the giants, their colossal forms causing seismic shocks, clashed with the angels. The beasts, untamed and relentless, were like a whirlwind of fangs and claws, harrying their celestial adversaries. For every angel brought low, another would rise, thanks to the luminescent rebirth. This radiant ritual revived fallen comrades, ensuring that the angelic ranks remained steadfast. The Silver Azura Devil Dominion pressed relentlessly against the angelic Sky City's immortal dominion, disrupting the delicate balance of the angelic array. Cracks began to appear in the formidable shield, and it was a race against time as the angels fought to maintain their defenses. Jiang Chen, in the midst of the conflict, focused on combating the angelic race's experts. As he defeated each angel, he probed their souls, searching for information about the artifact that contained his sealed power and abilities. He knew that reacquiring his full potential was crucial to neutralizing the holy attribute wielded by the angels, enabling him to face them head-on. However, despite reading the souls of numerous angels, Jiang Chen couldn't find any information about the artifact's location. It appeared that the angels themselves were unaware of its existence, leaving Jiang Chen frustrated and without a clear path to reclaim his lost ability. However, as the conflict unfolded, a sudden and shocking turn of events rippled across the battlefield. The balance of the battlefield was disrupted by the emergence of new forces from two ancient and powerful races, the barbarian and the elven races. Saint Realm experts from both races had joined the fray. For the barbarian race, their final two Saint Realm experts now stood ready for battle. As for the elven race, 7 Saint Realm experts had appeared, their presence resonating with nature's essence. Find PT Tez on n/VLN.cm. But the revelation that sent shockwaves through the battlefield was the leader of this unlikely alliance, none other than Wang Jian, the enigmatic figure who was part human and part devil. His arrival bore a sly yet depraved smile, as if he reveled in the chaos and conflict that had unfolded before him. It was unknown just why he was here and whom he would support. But there was no denying that his presence was bound to cause huge impact on the battlefield. Even Jiang Qin frowned when he sensed Wang Jian and his forces approaching the angelic Sky City. This was because, including Wang Jian, he had brought 10 Saint Realm experts to the battlefield. The side he supports would most definitely win. The revelation of Wang Jian's presence in the battlefield was like tossing a stone into the pond of chaos, creating ripples of uncertainty. His mysterious grin hung in the air, and the whole battleground seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the fallout of this unexpected development. Wang Jian strolled toward the angelic Sky City, his forces trailing behind him. The atmosphere crackled with tension and curiosity. Even Jiang Qin, right in the middle of the action, couldn't help but shoot a frown at the sudden plot twist. 10 Saint Realm experts at Wang Jian's back and call promised a game-changing twist. To Jiang Chen's dismay, it became clear that Wang Jian had chosen to throw his support behind the angel race against Jiang Chen's forces. The clash intensified, and the rhythm of battle shifted against Jiang Chen. Feeling a twinge of distress, Jiang Chen soared into the air, cutting through the chaotic symphony of combat to confront Wang Jian face to face. "Why in the realms are you teaming up with the angels?" Jiang Chen quipped, his voice slicing through the uproar. "They're not just my enemies, they've got a bone to pick with you too. With your half-devil lineage, they'd be sending attack you sooner or later. What's in it for you?" Wang Jian, his face a mask of inscrutable calm, met Jiang Chen's gaze with a calculating glint. "The angel race is a headache, but you, Jiang Chen, are a full-blown migraine. As long as you're kicking, they'll be more obsessed with taking you down than bothering with me. Simple risk management." Jiang Chen, still scratching his head over the puzzling alliance, listened as Wang Jian unwrapped the layers of his unusual decision. "And, of course, there's a little extra motivation," Wang Jian added with a devilish grin. His eyes wandered over the battlefield, pausing at some angels before returning to Jiang Chen. "They're quite the eye candy, wouldn't you say? Adds a spicy twist to this chaotic world." Jiang Chen found himself standing at the edge of disbelief as Wang Jian, his supposed nemesis, threw a curveball that shattered all of his carefully calculated possibilities. The alliance between Wang Jian and the angel race left Jiang Chen grappling with the unpredictable nature of his circumstances. The clash continued to unfold, and the futility of remaining on the battlefield became increasingly apparent to Jiang Chen. Every passing moment inflicted more damage on his forces, particularly the Silver Azura Devil Dominion, which was locked in a fierce struggle with the angelic Sky City's immortal dominion. The sacrifices made seemed untenable, especially when weighed against the lack of tangible gains. With a determined clench of his fists, Jiang Chen made a tough decision. He issued a strategic withdrawal, a tactical retreat aimed at salvaging what remained of his forces and regrouping for future endeavors. The members of Jiang Chen's forces swiftly retreated, seeking refuge within the protective confines of the Silver Azura Devil Dominion. As they withdrew, the Silver Azura Devil Dominion, still engaged in combat, slowly traveled back to its original location. The once chaotic battlefield gradually settled into an uneasy calm. Regrouping inside the Silver Azura Devil Dominion, Jiang Chen's forces collectively sighed in relief. The angels, momentarily halting their assault, observed as the opposing forces tactically withdrew. A collective breath of relief swept through the angel race as they navigated through the aftermath of the intense confrontation. The angelic Sky City stood unscathed, a testament to the reprieve granted by the withdrawal. Wang Jian drew eyes that were both grateful and wary. Some angels regarded him with complex emotions, conflicted by his status as a half-devil. The conflict within their gazes mirrored the deep-seated animosity toward the devil blood that ran through Wang Jian's veins. In the aftermath, a group of angels engaged in a hushed discussion about Wang Jian's unexpected intervention. "Why would a half-devil help us?" one angel pondered, her eyes reflecting both confusion and suspicion. Another angel chimed in, "It's true, but perhaps he saw Jiang Chen as the greater threat. We might just be a means to an end for him." The conversation continued as angels grappled with the complexity of their savior being a being with both human and devil blood. Some expressed gratitude for the assistance, while others couldn't suppress their outright resentment, a manifestation of their unwavering hatred for anything associated with the devil race. Jiang Chen, within the confines of the Silver Azura Devil Dominion, observed the aftermath with a mix of frustration and contemplation. "It would all have been worth it if I had gotten my hands on the artifact containing my power and ability." Jiang Chen couldn't help but mutter a bit frustratedly. Yet, Jiang Chen acknowledged the futility of dwelling on regret. The ever-shifting chessboard of alliances and conflicts demanded adaptability. It was time to redirect his focus, to set his sights on a new target, a race that also held the artifact containing his powers. Meanwhile, in the eastern part of the central region, the sea monsters were currently locked in a fierce battle against the three sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary. These weren't just any sects, they were the three great sects of the central region: Luminous Sun Sect, Celestial Moon Sect, and Eclipse Star Sect. Together, they formed an impenetrable force within the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary. The ongoing clash between the three sects and the myriad clans of the sea monster race unfolded as a mesmerizing spectacle of elemental clashes and strategic maneuvers. Each sea monster clan showcased unique abilities, their bloodlines resonating with ancient power. The Aqua Sirens, masters of aquatic illusions, glided through the waters with a captivating dance. Their Mirage Fin lineage allowed them to manipulate perception, creating illusions that confounded the three sects' disciples. On the front lines, the Thunder Leviathans, colossal giants crackling with electricity, unleashed bolts of lightning that arced across the battlefield. Their Thunderstrike bloodline made them living conduits of electrical might, a force to be reckoned with. In the midst of chaos, the venomous krakens surged forward, ink-black tentacles leaving a trail of corrosive poison. Their venom-spew bloodline dripped venom that could corrode even the strongest defenses, adding a layer of complexity to the battle. Challenges abounded for the three sects. The Celestial Moon Sect, masters of moonlight cultivation, clashed with the Luminous Sun Sect, whose disciples harnessed the power of solar radiance. Meanwhile, the Eclipse Star Sect, specializing in celestial formations, orchestrated intricate arrays to counter the sea monsters' onslaught. Undeterred, the sea monsters, united under the banner of the Immortal Dominion, pressed on against the three sects. Luminous Sun Sect disciples, clad in golden armor, faced the Thunder Leviathans head-on, attempting to nullify their electrical onslaught with the brilliance of solar power. The Celestial Moon Sect's disciples engaged in a dance of shadows with the Aqua Sirens, their moonlit techniques countering the aquatic illusions. Meanwhile, the Eclipse Star Sect's array masters worked tirelessly to disrupt the coordinated attacks of the venomous krakens. The battlefield pulsed with elemental clashes, each faction showcasing their unique prowess. Amidst the tumultuous clash between the sea monsters and the three great sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary, Wang Jian found himself in a meeting with the celestial luminaries, the Archangels. The revered chamber hosted more than 30 archangels, all standing tall in their saint realm might. Among them, the triumvirate of power comprised Archangel Seraphius, the eloquent spokesperson, Archangel Uriel, the wise strategist, and Archangel Azrael, the enigmatic leader. Wang Jian, an unexpected player in this cosmic drama, faced the archangels with a nod of acknowledgement. The air crackled with a mixture of solemnity and gratitude, acknowledging the unspoken alliance forged in the crucible of necessity. As a token of appreciation, Archangel Seraphius took center stage, holding forth a talisman pulsating with holy attribute energy, the celestial Aegis talisman. It bathed the room in a divine glow, a testament to its profound power. Find PT Tez on n/vln.cm. With a measured tone, Archangel Seraphius declared, "Behold, the celestial Aegis talisman. A divine shield that grants you the power to withstand 3 attacks even from an immortal realm expert. Consider it a gesture of gratitude from the angel race." The weight of the talisman was palpable as it changed hands, now in Wang Jian's possession. Its promise of defense against the mightiest of attacks made it a coveted treasure. Wang Jian, not one to easily show surprise, accepted the gift with a nod, understanding the gravity of the gesture. Archangel Uriel, the sage among them, added his assurance. "With the celestial Aegis talisman in your keeping, a pact is forged. The angel race pledges not to launch any offensive against you, nor will we pursue you. Consider it a bond between newfound allies." Archangel Azrael, the enigmatic figure, spoke last with a piercing gaze. "But heed this, Wang Jian. The moment you unleash the talisman's power and utilize it 3 times, our pact will dissolve, and the angels will once again be in pursuit of your head." Wang Jian nodded in solemn acknowledgement. The dynamics of the battlefield were changing, and this unorthodox alliance with the angel race, sealed with the celestial Aegis talisman, provided him with an unexpected advantage. Leaving the chamber, the talisman securely at his side, Wang Jian felt a renewed sense of assurance amid the swirling currents of conflicting interests and shifting alliances. After the unexpected alliance with the angel race and receiving the celestial swag in the form of the celestial Aegis talisman, Wang Jian decided to take a detour through the northern region's elven forest. Why? Well, apparently, he had a date, or rather, dates, with none other than the elf queen Alindra and her fiery daughter, elf princess Selena. Wang Jian strolled into the lush, enchanted woods like he owned the place, which, considering his track record, wasn't too far from the truth. The vibrant foliage seemed to welcome him, as if the very trees were gossiping about the impending rendezvous. Deep within the heart of the forest, Wang Jian found the magnificent tree that served as the dwelling for the elf queen. Nestled within the branches and leaves, the ethereal beauty of Alindra awaited. Her eyes sparkled with ancient wisdom, and her aura exuded both regality and allure. Now, imagine combining that regality with a level of seduction that could make a devil blush. Yep, that was Elf Queen Alindra for you. As Wang Jian approached, the Elf Queen greeted him with a sultry smile. My, look who decided to drop by. What brings you to my humble abode?" Wang Jian, with that sly grin of his, replied, "Oh, just a casual visit to thank you for your forces so that I could defeat that devil Jiang Chen and his forces to save the angel race. I thought we could have a little private celebration. You, me, and Selena." Elf Queen Alindra chuckled, her laughter like a melody that echoed through the forest. "Why yes, my lord. Lead the way." And so, the two vanished into the depths of the elven forest, leaving only the murmur of leaves and the envious whispers of other trees in their wake. Now, as for elf princess Selena, she wasn't one to be left out of the party. Wang Jian, the multitasking lover that he was, managed to navigate the twisting paths of the forest to find Selena's secluded dwelling. The eldest elf princess awaited him with an innocent yet mischievous smile that could disarm even the most battle-hardened warrior. "I am happy to see you. I thought you would just play with my mother and forget me," she teased, her eyes gleaming with a playful glint. Wang Jian, ever the smooth talker, replied, "Well, I like a dose of your youthfulness as much as your mother's seductive body." Elf Princess Selena giggled, a sound that could make hearts flutter. "Flattery will get you everywhere, my dear. So, how did the battle to save the angels go? Since you are here, you must have one. You didn't have any injuries, right?" Wang Jian, with a wink, responded, "You think any of those experts could have harmed me? You really have a low opinion of me, Selena. I have a present for you. One that would enhance your control over the wood element. Selena's eyes widened in surprise. You really know how to impress a girl. Wang Jian responded with a smirk. However, you need to earn this present. Come with me to a private celebration, where you and your mother will please me with your skills. If you are successful, I will give you your gift. Selena spoke with a rather wide smile. Let's make this celebration unforgettable. And so, amidst the ancient trees and the whispers of the elven forest, Wang Jian found himself in the company of two extraordinary women. Discover new chapters at novelby.co. The celebration that followed was a symphony of passion, laughter, and the rustle of leaves bearing witness to a love that defied the boundaries of realms and races. As the celebration continued, Wang Jian took Alindra and Selena to a hidden grotto within the depths of the elven forest. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings depicting scenes of elven lore, while a crystal-clear waterfall cascaded into a natural pool. Wang Jian, ever the playful lover, commanded the two elves to undress him. Their hands trembled with excitement as they slowly removed his armor, revealing his muscular physique. Alindra and Selena knelt before him, their eyes filled with adoration. Wang Jian then took control of the situation, grabbing Alindra by her long, flowing hair and pulling her towards him. He kissed her passionately, his rough tongue exploring her mouth. Selena watched in awe as her mother's lips were claimed by Wang Jian's. Next, Wang Jian turned his attention to Selena. He grasped her slender waist and lifted her off the ground, carrying her to the edge of the waterfall. He plunged her into the cool water, causing her to squeal with delight. Alindra, aroused by the sight of her daughter being playfully teased, approached Wang Jian. She slipped her hands under his tunic, caressing his chest. Wang Jian growled in approval, grabbing her by the waist and pushing her against the wall. Their kiss became more intense, filled with raw desire. Wang Jian's rough hands roamed over Alindra's body, leaving trails of goosebumps in their wake. She moaned softly, her body molding itself to his. Meanwhile, Selena climbed out of the waterfall, her hair cascading down her back. She approached Wang Jian and Alindra, her eyes filled with lust. Without hesitation, she threw herself at Wang Jian, wrapping her slender legs around his waist. Wang Jian's eyes flashed with lust as Selena threw herself at him, wrapping her slender legs around his waist. He groaned in approval, his hands roaming over her wet body. He roughly grabbed her ass, squeezing it hard before slapping it playfully. Selena moaned loudly, her eyes rolling back in pleasure. Wang Jian smirked, taking her mouth in a bruising kiss. His tongue invaded her mouth, tasting the sweetness of her lips. He bit down gently on her lower lip, causing her to cry out. He pulled away from the kiss, his breathing ragged. "You're so fucking beautiful," he growled, his voice thick with desire. Without warning, he lifted Selena up, carrying her to a nearby boulder. He positioned her on top of it, her legs dangling over the edge. He roughly pushed her skirt up, exposing her smooth, wet pussy. Selena gasped as he entered her, his thick cock stretching her tight passage. He began to thrust into her, his movements rough and unrelenting. He slapped her ass hard, causing her to cry out in pleasure. "Fuck, you feel so good," he groaned, his hips pounding into her. Selena moaned, her body arching off the boulder. She wrapped her legs around Wang Jian's waist, pulling him deeper inside her. He growled, biting down on her neck hard enough to leave a mark. Their passionate lovemaking continued for what seemed like hours, their bodies intertwined in a tangle of lust and desire. Finally, Wang Jian exploded inside Selena, filling her with his seed. He collapsed on top of her, panting heavily. "That was incredible," he whispered, kissing her forehead. Selena smiled, her eyes still glazed over with pleasure. Wang Jian climbed off the boulder, his cock still hard. He walked over to Alindra, who was watching them with a mixture of lust and jealousy. He grabbed her by the hair, pulling her to her feet. Alindra gasped as Wang Jian pulled her to her feet. She tried to resist, but his grip was too strong. He dragged her over to the boulder where Selena was still recovering from their passionate encounter. Wang Jian roughly pushed Alindra down onto the boulder, positioning her legs over the edge. He roughly pulled down her panties, exposing her wet pussy. Without hesitation, he plunged his cock deep inside her. Alindra cried out in pain, her body not yet ready for such rough treatment. Wang Jian didn't care, he continued to thrust into her, his hips pounding relentlessly. He grabbed her hair, pulling her head back forcefully. "You like this, don't you?" he growled, his breath hot against her ear. Alindra nodded, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe how much she was enjoying the pain. Wang Jian smirked, his eyes filled with lust. He started to slap her ass hard, causing her to cry out in pleasure. Their passionate lovemaking continued, with Wang Jian taking Alindra harder and faster than he had Selena. He growled, biting down on her neck just as he had done with her daughter. Alindra screamed, her body arching off the boulder. She wrapped her legs around Wang Jian's waist, pulling him deeper inside her. He groaned, his hips pounding into her faster and harder. Finally, Wang Jian exploded inside Alindra, filling her with his seed. He collapsed on top of her, panting heavily. Alindra lay there, her body covered in sweat and bruises, but she couldn't help but feel satisfied. Next, it was Selena's turn. And then it was Alindra's turn. And soon, a cycle was formed as Wang Jian's rough lovemaking with Alindra and Selena continued throughout the night. The two elves were taken hard and fast, their bodies bruised and sore from the relentless pounding. As the sun began to rise, Wang Jian finally stopped. He collapsed on the ground, his chest heaving. Alindra and Selena lay beside him, their bodies covered in sweat and blood. "That was amazing," Selena said, her voice hoarse. "It was really so pleasurable." "Yes," Alindra added, reaching out to touch Wang Jian's face. I didn't think I would say this one day, but I look forward to having more nights like that." Wang Jian smiled, his eyes still filled with lust. "You're both incredible," he said, pulling them into a tight embrace. "I could do this every day." The three of them lay there for a while, basking in the afterglow of their passionate encounter. Finally, they climbed to their feet, their bodies aching from the night's activities. As they made their way out of the elven forest, the sun was rising over the horizon. Wang Jian looked back at the hidden grotto, a smile on his face. He knew that this was just the beginning of a beautiful relationship with Alindra and Selena. Once the night of passion concluded in the depths of the elven forest, the trio lay intertwined, basking in the lingering warmth of their shared ecstasy. With the sunrise casting its gentle glow, Wang Jian, Alindra, and Selena rose from the ground, bodies marked by the symphony of their desires. As the sun heralded a new day, Wang Jian, ever the multitasking powerhouse, decided it was time for a little post-coital productivity. He tapped into the immense power of his soul board, a tool that could rewrite abilities of an individual. Focused on elevating the capabilities of his ethereal companions, he began the intricate process of upgrading the cultivation and abilities of both Alindra and Selena. The energy swirled around them as Wang Jian orchestrated the enhancement of their powers. The soul board was successful in amplifying the inherent strength of the Elf Queen and her fiery daughter. When the process was complete, both Alindra and Selena found themselves imbued with newfound prowess, a gift from their enigmatic lover. Satisfied with his impromptu power-up session, Wang Jian stretched luxuriously. "Well, ladies, that was a night for the books, but the day is calling. How about a refreshing bath to kick things off?" The trio made their way to a secluded natural spring, its waters reflecting the vibrant hues of the surrounding forest. The steamy bath awaited, promising both relaxation and intimacy. Wang Jian, ever the gentleman, let the ladies take the lead. As they soaked in the warm embrace of the spring, the enchanting atmosphere echoed with laughter and whispered conversations. The water, bubbling with a magical essence, seemed to cleanse not only their bodies but also the remnants of the night's passion. Once thoroughly rejuvenated, they emerged from the bath, steam rising from their glistening forms. The air was filled with an unspoken understanding. It was time to get dressed. Draped in clothes that seemed almost regal in contrast to the enchanted forest backdrop, the trio took a seat. The aftermath of their shared experiences lingered, weaving an unbreakable bond between them. Wang Jian, still exuding an air of nonchalance, turned to Alindra with a playful grin. "Now, my lovely elf queen, I've got a task for you." Alindra, her eyes still reflecting the love and satisfaction from their night together, looked at Wang Jian with a submissive eagerness. "What is it you desire, my lord?" "Your wish is my command." Wang Jian chuckled, appreciating the enchanting mix of submission and affection in Alindra's gaze. "Well, my dear, it's quite a straightforward task. I need you to ready your forces and imbue them with your own power." Alindra, intrigued, nodded in understanding. "For what purpose, my lord? How may my forces serve you?" Wang Jian's grin widened. "We're about to crash another party. You see, I've decided to have your forces assist the 3 sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Dominion. They are currently engaged in a fierce battle against the sea monster race." Alindra's eyes widened in both surprise and determination. "Assist the 3 sects?" "Of course, my lord." "Consider it done. I shall prepare my forces immediately." Wang Jian nodded in approval. "Good. Your powers, when infused into your forces, will make a substantial difference in the upcoming clash." Amidst the echoes of their passionate night, Alindra embraced Wang Jian's command with an eagerness that spoke of both submission and devotion. She rallied her elven warriors, their forms shimmering with the power bestowed upon them by their queen. With an air of regal authority, Alindra addressed her assembled forces beneath the age-old boughs of the elven forest. "Listen well, my brethren," she spoke, her voice a melodic command. "We embark on a mission that intertwines our destiny with the 3 sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Dominion. Let our arrows find their mark, and may our blades dance to the rhythm of victory." The elven warriors, bearing the grace of their queen's power, embarked on their mission. The forests seemed to breathe with their collective determination as they advanced toward the battlefield, leaving the whispers of the enchanted woods in their wake. Wang Jian, orchestrating this symphony of realms colliding, had more moves to make. His message resonated through the realms, reaching the 3 great sects of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion. Urgency dripped from his words, and the response was swift. The Wind Cloud House, with its mastery over tempests, the Spirit Affinity Sect, a beacon of spiritual prowess, and the Heavenly Lotus Sect, radiating both grace and ferocity, mobilized their forces quickly. As the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion and the Elven forces merged on the battlefield, the sea monster race faced a dire predicament. The clash of elements and the resonance of potent techniques painted a tumultuous masterpiece on the canvas of conflict. The Aqua Siren's illusions, once an ethereal dance, faltered under the onslaught of the Spirit Affinity Sect's spiritual prowess. The Thunder Leviathans, masters of electrical might, found themselves ensnared in cyclones summoned by the Wind Cloud House, disrupting their ferocious onslaught. The venomous Krakens, wielders of corrosive poisons, encountered an unyielding assault from the Heavenly Lotus Sect, their profound arts countering the noxious tides. In the heart of this maelstrom, the sea monsters grappled with the relentless forces of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Dominion and the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion. As the battleground quivered with the intensity of the clash, unexpected reinforcements surged forth from the ocean depths to aid the beleaguered sea monsters. New clans, veiled in aquatic mystery, emerged with a resolve to turn the tide against the alliance of humans and elves. The first to surface were the abyssal marauders, their scales gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence. These warriors wielded the power of abyssal shadows, allowing them to meld seamlessly with the dark currents and launch surprise attacks. As they engaged the Radiant Oasis forces, their shadows flickered, making them elusive targets. On another front, the vortex serpents spiraled through the waters, creating whirlpools that disrupted the precision of the celestial nexus forces. Their tidal vortex bloodline enabled them to manipulate water currents, turning the battlefield into a chaotic dance of unpredictable tides. The final reinforcement, known as the Coral Wardens, rose with regal poise. Their Coral Harmony bloodline bestowed upon them the ability to create protective barriers woven from the essence of living coral. These barriers, resilient and ethereal, became formidable obstacles for the advancing elven warriors. The alliance of the three great sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary and the three great sects of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion, combined with the elven warriors, faced a daunting challenge. The battlefield, now more chaotic than ever, became an arena where the clash of powers and elements unfolded with breathtaking complexity. The luminous sun sect, bathed in golden radiance, clashed fiercely with the abyssal marauders. The celestial brilliance of the sect's disciples became a beacon in the tumultuous waters, countering the elusive nature of their shadowy adversaries. Meanwhile, the celestial moon sect engaged in a celestial dance against the vortex serpents. Moonlit techniques weaved through the whirlpools, countering the aquatic chaos with a serene and calculated grace. The delicate dance of light and water formed an intricate ballet of conflict. The Eclipse Star sect, masters of celestial formations, orchestrated arrays to counter the Coral Wardens. Arcane symbols adorned the battleground, clashing against the living barriers of coral with dazzling displays of mystic energies. The elven warriors, infused with the power of Elf Queen Alindra, moved with an ethereal grace. Their arrows, imbued with the essence of the enchanted forest, sought out the abyssal marauders with unerring accuracy. The wind whispered through the trees, guiding the arrows to their elusive targets. The wind cloud house of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion created cyclones to disrupt the movements of the vortex serpents. A ballet of air currents clashed with swirling water, creating a mesmerizing spectacle that unfolded with deadly precision. The Spirit Affinity sect, comprised entirely of women, faced the Coral Wardens head-on. The female cultivators, skilled in the art of spiritual energy manipulation, created barriers of their own. A dance of spiritual essence clashed against the living coral, a clash that unfolded with an almost poetic elegance. The Heavenly Lotus sect, another all-female sect, showcased their prowess against the Coral Wardens. Lotus petals, imbued with potent energy, formed a shield that absorbed the impact of the living barriers. The battlefield, now a canvas of lotus blossoms and coral, bore witness to a clash of opposing forces, finned the new St. Ovals on n/velben.com. As the clash intensified, the warriors unleashed unique artifacts to tip the scales. The warriors of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary deployed the Starfire arrows, each imbued with the essence of solar radiance. Meanwhile, the warriors of the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion wielded the Zephyr blades, weapons of unparalleled speed and precision. The elven warriors utilized the Sylvan shrouds, cloaks that granted them fleeting invisibility in the enchanted woods. In response, the sea monsters brought forth their own arsenal. The abyssal marauders unleashed the shadow spears, projectiles that melded with their shadowy forms for deadly accuracy. The vortex serpents wielded the tidal tridents, weapons that harnessed the chaotic power of whirlpools. The Coral Wardens, in turn, summoned the barrier orbs, artifacts that fortified their living barriers. Amidst the crazy clash, sect leader Shui from the Windcloud House, rocking windswept hair and eyes filled with determination, sliced through the chaotic waters. His Zephyr blades, these wicked twin arcs of celestial metal, pulled off some serious moves, cutting through the abyssal marauders' slippery shadows. Suddenly, a cyclone burst out with a bit of flare, messing up the Marauders' game and giving the luminous sun sect a shot at them. Shui's voice, like a gust of bossy wind, echoed through the chaos. "Feel the wind power," he yelled, directing a coordinated beatdown that trapped those slippery marauders in a wild dance of celestial and elemental forces. Over on another front, Fairy Ming Lan, the cool leader of the Spirit Affinity sect, faced off against the Coral Wardens with some serious determination. Her disciples, these spiritual energy whizzes, threw up barriers that vibed with the living coral. It was like a crazy art show as the clash of spiritual essence and choral harmony painted this wild tapestry of opposing forces. Fairy Ming Lan's voice cut through the chaos. "Spiritual energies, weave a tapestry against the living barriers. Let the realms mix and mingle and beat these barriers." At the same time, Fairy Qian Shui, the mystery leader of the Heavenly Lotus sect, led her crew in this dance of lotus petals against the Coral Wardens. The barrier orbs met their match in the spin of lotus energies, a real party of defensive moves unfolding under the vast, crazy sky. Fairy Qian Shui's laugh, all melodic and out of this world, echoed across the battlefield. "Lotus petals, shield us against the living coral. Let beauty be our shield." The celestial formations from the Eclipse Star sect, controlled by their leader, added this mystic twist. Symbols glowed with this otherworldly energy, throwing up barriers that gave the Coral Wardens a run for their money. Shui, checking out this formation dance, nodded in approval. "Star formations, hold the line. Let the mystic arts shield us against these living barriers of the sea." But oh boy, the sea monster clans weren't holding back. The abyssal marauders countered with shadow spears, smoothly blending them with their shadowy vibes. The luminous sun sect, facing these deadly shots, shifted their celestial radiance to shut down those shadows. Vist and Velben, .cm for new updates. Down in the watery depths, the vortex serpents got crafty with tidal tridents, whipping up whirlpools that threw the celestial nexus forces off their game. The moonlit moves from the celestial moon sect, this elegant counterdance against the unpredictable tides, added this touch of serene grace. The Coral Wardens, backed up by barrier orbs, were smack in the middle of the spiritual and lotus storm from the Spirit Affinity and Heavenly Lotus crews. Those living barriers, throbbing with coral energy, soaked up the spiritual and lotus vibes like it was nothing. Yet, right in the middle of all this, the three great sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary jumped into the mix. Sect leader Zhang Yun from the Luminous Sun sect, this stalwart dude with golden robes going wild, cranked up the celestial radiance. "Shine a light for the Luminous Sun sect." At the same time, Elder Bai Jia from the Celestial Moon sect, this wise figure with a staff blinged out in moonstones, steered the lunar energies, ride the tides. "Celestial Moon sect, stand your ground." Elder Lan Feng from the Eclipse Star sect, this celestial formations master, tossed in some extra barriers. "Stars, show us the way through the abyss." "Eclipse Star sect, lock it down." The Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary disciples unleashed their array formations, each sect throwing their own spice into the mix. The whole thing turned into this mesmerizing show of celestial awesomeness, swirling energies, and living barriers. It was like a clash of realms throwing a crazy party, and everyone was invited. Now, in the midst of this cosmic showdown, things were getting crazier by the second. The sea monster clans, feeling the heat from the human and elven alliance, decided to up their game. Out from the depths of the ocean, more powerful clans emerged like they were auditioning for some epic underwater talent show. Let's break down these new contenders, shall we? First up, you had the Netherwave Phantoms. These guys were like aquatic ninjas, blending into the water like they were born from the shadows. Their specialty? Ghostly illusions that made you question reality. Trying to hit them was like trying to catch a fish with your bare hands. Next on the scene were the Storm Leviathans, masters of oceanic fury. These colossal beasts brought thunderstorms to the party, summoning bolts of lightning that'd make gods of lightning jealous. If you thought the weather was getting wild on land, it was nothing compared to the aquatic thunderstorm these leviathans unleashed. Last but not least, you had the venom spire hydras. Think of them as the underwater hydra mafia. Each head spat out a different flavor of corrosive venom, turning the ocean into a deadly cocktail. They weren't just spitting venom, they were practically hosting a toxic rave. Now, the three great sects of the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary and the Celestial Nexus Immortal Dominion, backed up by the Elven Warriors, weren't about to let these sea critters win. Sect leader Zhang Yuan, adjusting his golden robes as if preparing for a celestial feast, grinned amidst the cosmic tumult. Looks like we've got some party crashers, folks. Luminous Sun Sect, shine even brighter. Let's show these sea creatures who owns the dance floor. Elder Bai Jia, his staff gleaming like a lunar beacon in the night, chuckled at the impending storm. Harmony can weather any storm. Celestial Moon Sect, let's sway with the tides. Elder Lan Feng, directing the Symphony of Stars, regarded the emerging clans with an arched brow. Stars, meet the newcomers. Eclipse Star Sect, time to dazzle them. Back on the other side, sect leader Shui from the Wind Cloud House wasn't going to let his wind powers be outshone by some sea monsters. New friends, huh? Wind Cloud House, let's blow them away with our moves. Fairy Minglan, her hair swirling as if spun by ancient enchantments, winked at her spirit affinity disciples. They want a clash of elements, huh? Well, they've got it. Spiritual warriors, show them what we're made of. Fairy Qian Shui, surrounded by lotus petals twirling like ancient glyphs of power, chuckled at the newcomers. Venom Spire Hydras? Cute. Heavenly Lotus Sect, let's give them a taste of our flower power. As the sea monster clans unleashed their underwater chaos, the clash entered a whole new level of crazy. The netherwave phantoms weaved illusions that messed with the minds of the elven archers. Arrows scattered like mystical confetti in an elven revelry, hitting everything simultaneously. The titans of storm leviathans roared, conjuring tidal waves threatening to engulf the warriors. Yet, the Celestial Moon Sect countered with their lunar sorcery, manipulating the tides like celestial sorcerers riding the mightiest cosmic waves. The Venom Spire Hydra spat venom in all directions, turning the ocean into a neon-lit nightmare. However, the Spirit Affinity Sect, with their spiritual barriers, stood unwavering, as if bathing in an ancient cosmic essence. As the battlefield raged on, Wang Jian found himself relishing moments of bliss with Alindra. She was nestled on his lap, allowing his hands to explore the contours of her seductive form. I've heard whispers of the escalating battle between the sea monsters and the great sects of the central region. More of their aquatic kin are surfacing. Do you think it was wise not to dispatch any Saint Realm experts among the elven warriors we send into the fray? Alindra inquired, a curious gleam in her eyes. Wang Jian, his hands indulging in the delightful dance across Alindra's buxom body, responded with a smirk. You must have noticed, my dear, that despite the multitude of sea races emerging, none of them boasts a Saint Realm expert. The sea monsters are treading cautiously, especially after one of their immortal realm experts met an untimely end at the hands of the Heavenly Court's vice leader. They're steering clear of provoking the Heavenly Court and have kept their Saint Realm experts out of this assault on the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary. The realization dawned on Alindra, her features expressing comprehension. Ah, I see. Sending our Saint Realm experts might have given them cause to unleash theirs, potentially escalating the conflict. Wang Jian nodded sagely, his hands still engaged in messing up intimately with Alindra's sexy body. Precisely. For some reason, the Heavenly Court appears to be more lenient about deploying Saint Realm experts lately. There might be some underlying strategy at play. However, I've observed a pattern. The experts from the Heavenly Court seem averse to an imbalanced power dynamic. They tend to step in when one faction unleashes their Saint Realm expert against a faction lacking one. Alindra then couldn't help but mutter out loud, "I still find it difficult to believe how the sea monster race has managed to preserve their immortal realm experts during the passage of time." Now, it didn't take long before the clans of the sea monsters suffered enough damage that they were forced to withdraw. Their attempt at taking over the Radiant Oasis Immortal Sanctuary had failed miserably. As this occurred, all the factions of the world began to recruit more of experts into their own factions while allocating resources to their subordinates to facilitate their growth. Wang Jian was managing all the factions and races under his rule. He had the beast race members headed by his wife Stella, who was the butterfly spirit queen. The devil race members headed by his mistress Cyrithia, who was the heiress of the Nether Curseweaver devil clan. Then lastly, he had the elven race members headed by Alindra, who was the elf queen. As for the human race members, they were all under his dear Empress Su Xian. In fact, Su Xian had split up the human race members into many factions and assigned them to particular ones of Wang Jian's wives and concubines. The barbarian race was working under Wang Jian's concubine Kong Huiyan. During the next few months, Wang Jian spent quite a bit of his time with each one of his cherished women who held intimate and sexual relations with him. As this occurred, Wang Jian managed to gain a large number of destiny points. He had already gathered 5 million points by now. This was only possible because of his relentless hard work and having lots of fun with many beautiful women. Things were becoming a bit peaceful on the Sky Martial continent. This was only natural because each faction on this continent had suffered tremendous loss of lives in recent times. Whether it was Wang Jian's faction, Jiang Chen's faction, Sea Monster's faction, or the Great Sex faction. Well, actually, there was one faction that hadn't suffered great damage, and it was the Heavenly Court. For some reason, the Heavenly Court had been conserving their strength during this tumultuous period. This was strange because typically they definitely would have taken action and not let the other races cause so much chaos to the human race. Discover WStories on no/e/lbin.com. In recent period, the only time the Heavenly Court's presence was felt was when the vice leader of the Heavenly Court had emerged and slaughtered that Leviathan at the Immortal Realm. This was an extremely huge move. And it showed the world that the Heavenly Court still held enough power to rule over the entire world. It was for this reason that even though Jiang Chen was very confident of his own resourcefulness, he hadn't yet tried to initiate an attack on the Heavenly Court. He knew that it would end in a failure. And in fact, the Heavenly Court's experts would definitely capture him and put him into one of their dungeons. Well, in any case, Jiang Chen was developing his faction and enhancing the potential of his subordinates while distributing many rare pellets that let his subordinates break through to the Saint Realm. More than 6 months had elapsed. Wang Jian felt as though he was finally ready. He was in a meeting with Su Xian, Fan Shuiying, Chen Yan, Cyrithia, Stella, Kong Huiyan, Han Shifeng, Hong Meilin, and many more of his wives and concubines. All right. Time has come for us to launch an attack on the giant race. We will have the barbarian race be our vanguard, Wang Jian declared with a rather solemn tone. Kong Huiyan was the one who added, "That's a wonderful idea, my lord. The population of the barbarian race is quite a lot. And their physiques are much more resilient compared to us humans." Su Xian raised up a question with a slight frown on her face. The giant race has their immortal dominion underneath the earth. It will be hard to fight them in that place. Fan Shuiying was the one who answered that question rather quickly. It will be difficult, but not impossible. We just need to coordinate our movements and strike all of the earth veins at the same time. Cyrithia added, "It's a good thing that we have distributed the devil artifacts among the army. It will be useful against the giant race. Even if the giant race has been equipped with the artifacts made by the dwarven race, they will still be at a massive disadvantage." Chen Yan then raised a question with a worried look on her face. "There is a chance that Jiang Chen will realize we are targeting the giant race. He will definitely gather enough of his forces and seal off our escape route. That will be bad for us." Stella was the one who responded to this. I will talk to the Azure Spirit Lion of the Beast race in the northern region and request him to support us in this attack. If we have the support of the Azure Spirit Lion's beast comrades, we will be able to enforce our escape route. If the Azure Spirit Lion comes, there is a strong possibility that the Black Dragon will come with his forces. That will be bad for us. Although the Azure Spirit Lion's beast forces are quite powerful, I don't think they can last long against the Black Dragon's beast forces. Don't forget that the Black Dragon has awakened many ancient beasts from their slumber and added them to his forces. Chinian spoke a bit worriedly. Stella, however, reassured her comrades, don't worry. I will be able to hold them back for a limited time. Well, that's only if we are on schedule and manage to destroy the connection of the Earth veins with the giant race's immortal dominion. Wang Jian was listening to the conversation between his wives with a rather sly smile on his face. He then stared at Han Shifeng and asked her, what's the status of the members of the Holy Church? Do you think they are ready for this battle? Han Shifeng thought for some moments before nodding, They should be ready. Many of them can now conjure a powerful angelic spirit. Although it can't be compared to mine and Sister Maylene's, it's still plenty powerful. In the last few months, they have grown quite proficient in utilizing their spirits. Good, Wang Jian nodded as he heard her response. He then stared at Hong Meilin. I assume that your subordinates are also ready. That's right, husband, Hong Meilin responded rather confidently. Good. I want your forces to remain concealed. Your group will take action only if the Jiangchen appears with a large contingent of the devil forces, Wang Jian instructed her calmly. Hong Meilin felt that this order made sense. Jiangchen's devil forces are bound to be rattled when a large contingent of Hong Meilin's forces appear that could utilize the holy attribute. Although the holy attribute that they could utilize couldn't be compared to that of the holy attribute of the angels, it was still extremely deadly to the devils. All right, I will be ready. I will use the stealthy enchantment talismans to ensure we remain concealed, Hong Meilin spoke seriously. To this, Wang Jian spoke as he added, make sure to bring some pellets that can enhance the intensity of your qi. Su Xian asked Wang Jian at this moment, will the elven experts assist us in this mission? Wang Jian shook his head negatively, no. I am saving them as our last resort in case we need to call upon them for assistance. All of his wives felt that this was a rather good idea. They soon finalized the meeting and decided on the opportune moment to initiate the attack. As they were planning to disperse this meeting, a couple of soldiers of the everlasting mystical empire were rushing towards the hall. The doors to the meeting hall barged open. All the individuals seated in the meeting hall were startled as these guards entered so suddenly and with such a startled look on their faces. What is it? Why are you here? Su Xian asked with a frown. Those soldiers stared at Wang Jian and bowed respectfully before one of them gathered the courage to speak up. Your Majesty, we have received information from our contacts in the central region that the barbarian race's immortal dominion is seen heading towards the northern region. What? Wang Jian's eyes widened slightly as he heard those words. Not just him, but all his wives were also shocked as they heard this bit of information. There are rumors that this barbarian race's immortal dominion is being accompanied by the experts of the Heavenly Court, the soldier added. The Heavenly Court? How did our contacts know it was them? Wang Jian asked the obvious question. Apparently, it is because Lord Hui is the one leading this party and the barbarian race's immortal dominion to the northern region, the soldier responded submissively. Hui? The man who is said to have slaughtered even the legendary divine birds such as golden crows? Wang Jian's eyes were completely wide as he muttered these words. Soon, however, he began to let out a chuckle. He didn't think that the Heavenly Court would take action at this particular moment. At this particular moment, Hui found himself leading a mighty contingent of Saint Realm experts from the Heavenly Court. A formidable force indeed. Marching alongside them was the airborne land of the barbarian race's immortal dominion. Their journey brought them to the boundary between the central and northern regions. However, before they could venture further into the northern region, a battalion of elves emerged, barring their path with an air of hostility. "Halt! Advance any further, and you make an enemy of the illustrious elf queen," warned a stern elven emissary. Making the elves our enemies was precisely our plan," Hui retorted, his cold words accompanied by a barrage of arrows that pierced through the elven ranks, injuring not just their physical forms but also their ethereal spirits. Undeterred, Hui, his forces, and the massive barbarian race's immortal dominion pressed on into the northern region. As they breached the northern region's boundary, an overwhelming power enveloped them, making Hui feel a divine presence that demanded reverence. This power emanated from none other than the World Tree, the heart of the elven dominion. A resonant voice echoed in Hui's mind, "You've erred in slaying those messengers. The price for your folly shall be paid." The might of the barbarian race's immortal dominion, though formidable, paled in comparison to the World Tree elven dominion. The latter, connected to the earth veins across the entire northern region, boasted a stability that the barbarian race's immortal dominion lacked at this moment. Moreover, the barbarian race's immortal dominion, soaring in the air, experienced a weakened state, unable to fully exert its power. The barrier of the World Tree elven dominion stood resolute, blocking entry into its sacred territory. Yet, Hui anticipated this challenge. He produced an orb pulsating with the intense power of the law of celestial might. This orb contains the accumulation of the heavenly quartz vice leader's power, gathered over nearly a millennium and infused into an elemental spark, Hui explained, a sly smirk playing on his lips. In the heart of the elven forest, Elindra's eyes widened in shock. She sensed the extraordinary power contained within the elemental spark. "This isn't of our world. It's like the essence from the core of another realm. Does the heavenly court possess such rare treasures from distant worlds?" Elindra murmured, her astonishment evident. With a confident throw, Hui launched the elemental spark at the barrier, a radiant beacon of celestial might aimed at shattering the defenses that barred their entry into the World Tree elven dominion. No earth-shattering explosion rocked the scene. Instead, as Hui's throne orb collided with the formidable barrier of the World Tree elven dominion, something extraordinary happened. The exceptional energy of the orb didn't burst forth in a fiery display. Instead, it carved a hole, a small breach through which Hui, his forces, and even the colossal barbarian race's immortal dominion slipped into the sacred domain. Their intrusion triggered an immediate response. A legion of elven experts descended upon the invaders, ready to exact a hefty toll for their audacity and transgression. In the unfolding clash, the heavenly court's formidable experts clashed blades with the elite elven warriors of the World Tree elven dominion. Traditionally, entering the sacred territory of the World Tree elven dominion would tilt the odds heavily in favor of the defenders due to the intrinsic support provided by the energies and laws of the World Tree itself. However, to the astonishment of the elven experts, their opponents, led by Hui, weren't just holding their ground, they were overpowering them in raw strength and elemental essence. This revelation sent shockwaves through the elven experts. Inside the sanctum of the World Tree elven dominion, they shouldn't have been at a disadvantage in terms of raw strength and elemental essence. It defied the very nature of their sacred realm. "Did you think we wouldn't come prepared?" Hui's voice cut through the clash as he raised his bow, radiating an intense blue light. The arrows, notched on the bowstring, weren't physical, they were manifestations of pure elemental essence, conjured and launched without a moment's hesitation. The elves, renowned for their connection to the elements, found themselves in a peculiar position of disadvantage. The air crackled with the hum of Hui's bow, a rhythmic dance of elemental arrows leaving no room for a counterattack. A seasoned elven commander, witnessing the unexpected turn of events, shouted orders to rally their forces. "Stand firm. Channel the essence of the World Tree. We cannot allow these interlopers to defy our sacred domain. Yet, despite their efforts, the elven experts continued to face an onslaught that defied their expectations. The usual harmony with the world tree's essence seemed disrupted, and the elves struggled to adapt. New chapters will be fully updated at novl/bin.com. Hui, his bowstring vibrating with each release, declared, each word carrying the weight of an impending storm, "You elves have grown too complacent." The heavenly court's preparations are not to be underestimated. You may have the world tree, but we've come armed with the very essence of the heavens. With each elemental arrow, Hui asserted the heavenly court's dominance within the sacred domain. The wind arrows cut through the air, disrupting the typical cadence of the world tree's essence, leaving the elves perplexed and vulnerable. One by one, elven experts engaged in aerial acrobatics, trying to evade the relentless assault. The sacred battleground beneath the colossal boughs of the world tree erupted into a whirlwind of elemental chaos. The air buzzed with the clash of the heavenly court's forces, led by Hui and his formidable archery skills, against the skilled elven warriors, each a master of nature's elements. As the elven experts, graceful and lethal, converged upon the intruders, the world tree's essence seemed to rally in defense. The first line of elven defenders, all attuned to the ancient magic of the forest, moved with an ethereal grace. They raised their hands, and the very trees responded to their command. "Verdant Embrace," called out the elven commander, her voice carrying a melodic resonance. Instantly, the trees around her entwined their limbs, creating a living barrier to ward off the intruders. Yet, Hui's first arrow, infused with the essence of celestial wind, cut through the barrier like a swift breeze, disrupting the harmony of the verdant embrace. The elven archers, clad in leaves and wielding bows crafted from enchanted wood, countered with a barrage of arrows. Each arrow was a manifestation of nature's wrath, seeking to pierce the heavenly court's forces. Hui's comrades, well-versed in celestial arts, responded with synchronized defensive formations. Amidst the chaos, a trio of elven warriors invoked their collective power. "Sylvan Triad Dance," they chanted in unison. The ground beneath them trembled as roots erupted, creating a mesmerizing dance of deadly grace. Poisonous thorns sprouted along the roots, aimed at ensnaring Hui's allies. The heavenly court's experts, however, countered with agility and precision, dodging the intricate dance of the Sylvan Triad. Hui, ever the agile marksman, leaped and twisted midair, launching his second arrow, Zephyr's Wrath. This arrow, infused with the essence of a raging storm, tore through the aerial ballet of the elven archers. The very winds seemed to heed Hui's command as they disrupted the trajectory of the Sylvan Triad dance. As the battle intensified, a group of elven mages emerged from the foliage. Their hands glowed with an otherworldly light as they invoked the ancient spell, Luminescent Enigma. The forest floor became a kaleidoscope of illusions, confusing the heavenly court's forces. Hui responded by unleashing his third arrow, Illusion Shatter. The arrow, guided by celestial intuition, pierced through the illusions, dispelling the enchantment. Meanwhile, Hui's comrades showcased their prowess. One, a master of earth manipulation, summoned towering rock formations to shield against the elven barrage. Another, skilled in the art of sound, resonated a powerful harmonic wave, sonic barrier, deflecting the enchanted arrows with invisible force. Back in the heart of the battle, the elven commander unleashed a devastating ability, Venomous Grove. The trees, now imbued with a corrosive poison, swayed menacingly toward Hui's forces. His comrades, undeterred, activated their protective auras, Celestial Ward, forming a barrier against the toxic onslaught. The rhythmic exchange of attacks continued. Hui, showcasing his relentless archery skills, launched arrows with diverse elemental infusions. Gale Pierce, Solar Flare, and Ethereal Cascade, each arrow bore a unique essence, countering the elven onslaught. Yet, the elven defenders, their unity with nature unyielding, adapted. A group of nimble warriors executed the ephemeral canopy, a maneuver that rendered them nearly invisible within the forest's foliage. Hui's comrades, recognizing the challenge, employed their keen celestial senses to detect the concealed assailants. In the midst of this elemental symphony, the elven warriors remained resilient. Elemental convergence, declared the elven commander, invoking a fusion of earth, wind, and water. The very air crackled with the convergence, creating a tempest that threatened to engulf Hui's forces. Hui, undeterred, summoned his celestial prowess. The fourth arrow, cyclonic annihilation, manifested a whirlwind that countered the elemental convergence. His comrades, aware of the impending clash, invoked their synchronized ability, heavenly resonance, harmonizing their energies to bolster the celestial defense. The battleground, now a canvas of elemental clashes, celestial archery, and elven resilience, echoed with the intensity of realms colliding. As the battle unfolded, it became increasingly evident that the Heavenly Court's experts held a distinct advantage over the elven forces in their own sacred realm. The elves, guardians of the ancient forest, found themselves on the back foot, defending against an unprecedented incursion. Amidst the clash of arrows and elemental forces, a sudden ray of vivid green light pierced the tumultuous battlefield. It collided with each of Hui's arrows, causing them to erupt in a burst of energy. The resulting shockwave and blinding light marked the collision of two formidable forces. In the aftermath, the radiant green beam extended further, piercing the left side of Hui's gut. His expression darkened, a rare sight for the seasoned archer, as he felt the potent power of wood coursing through the beam. With gritted teeth, Hui summoned a powerful arrow and shot it into the stream of green light, momentarily disrupting its flow. Seizing the opportunity, he swiftly moved to a safer distance, his azure bow at the ready, prepared for any subsequent attacks. Amidst the echoes of the clash, an ancient and authoritative voice resonated through the forest. "You dogs of the Heavenly Court are truly arrogant to trespass into the elven dominion merely because you wield immortal rank weapons," spoke an ancient voice belonging to one of the elder elves who was also a member of the elite guards of the royal family. The elder elves or the elite guards of the royal family were individuals who stood at the pinnacle of the saint realm, possessed a connection to nature and a bloodline ability unparalleled among the elven race. Their weapons, crafted from fragments of the world tree and refined with rare resources, were nothing short of immortal grade. Hui, acknowledging the gravity of the situation, responded with a touch of defiance, "Arrogance or not, we're here for a reason. The Heavenly Court will not fall to the likes of you." The clash between the Heavenly Court and the elves took on a new dimension as the elder elf stepped forward, surrounded by the verdant aura of the ancient forest. The elven warriors, revitalized by the elder's presence, regrouped with a newfound determination. The elder elf's weapon, a manifestation of the world tree's essence, gleamed with immortal brilliance. "Nature's wrath," he intoned, unleashing a cascade of energy that surged toward the Heavenly Court's forces. The forest itself seemed to respond to his command, as vines and roots entwined with the elemental energy, creating a formidable onslaught. Hui's comrades, recognizing the shift in momentum, coordinated their efforts. One unleashed a dazzling display of celestial flames, astral inferno, attempting to counter the encroaching vines. Another invoked celestial breeze, creating a barrier of wind to mitigate the force of nature's wrath. Yet, the elder elf's connection to the forest was unparalleled. "Foliage requiem," he whispered, causing the very leaves of the trees to rustle in unison. The rustling turned into a harmonious melody, weaving a spell that disoriented the Heavenly Court's forces. Hui, determined to break through the elven defenses, notched an arrow infused with the essence of thunder, tempest surge. The arrow crackled with celestial electricity as it streaked toward the elder elf, aiming to disrupt the rhythm of foliage requiem. As Hui's arrow, infused with the essence of thunder, streaked toward the elder elf, the forest seemed to hold its breath. The elder elf, undeterred by the impending threat, raised his weapon high. "Verdant resonance," he declared, channeling the essence of the world tree. The very ground beneath him vibrated with life, creating a protective barrier against the approaching tempest surge. The celestial electricity crackled as it collided with the verdant shield. The clash sent shockwaves through the forest, causing leaves to rain down like ethereal confetti. However, the elder elf's mastery over the forest granted him a resilient defense that absorbed the thunderous assault. Seizing the moment, the elder elf retaliated. "Roots of reprieve," he commanded, and from the forest floor, serpentine roots emerged. They slithered with graceful precision, seeking out the heavenly court's forces. One by one, the roots ensnared Hui's comrades, binding them in a temporary prison of nature's creation. Meanwhile, the elven warriors, reinvigorated by their leader's prowess, launched a synchronized assault. Utilizing their innate connection to the forest, they manipulated the very trees around them. "Dance of the Sylvan Blades," cried one, as razor-sharp leaves formed around her and whirled like a deadly dance, slicing through the air toward the heavenly court's experts. The battlefield became a whirlwind of elemental chaos. Hui's comrades struggled against the ensnaring roots, attempting to break free. One managed to conjure a barrier of celestial flames, infernal shield, but it was quickly extinguished by a counterattack of water conjured by an elven mage. The elven forces, with their command over the environment, began to gain the upper hand. "Nature's embrace," intoned another elder elf, and the very ground beneath Hui's team sprouted thorny vines, hindering their movements. Hui, recognizing the dire situation, unleashed another arrow. This one, infused with the essence of lightning, was named Stormbreaker. The arrow streaked across the battlefield, dispersing the thorny vines and providing a momentary reprieve for his comrades. However, the elder elf remained relentless. "Echoing canopy," he commanded, and the forest responded by creating an illusionary canopy that distorted perceptions. The members of the heavenly court found themselves surrounded by mirages, making it challenging to discern friend from foe. In the midst of this chaotic dance, the elven warriors continued their onslaught. "Petal cyclone," exclaimed one, conjuring a mesmerizing storm of petals that obscured vision and sliced through the air. Another, with an affinity for poison, unleashed venomous quill, a deadly rain of enchanted needles that sought out the heavenly court's experts. The battle took a deadly turn as 3 members of Hui's team fell under the combined assault of the elves. The petal cyclone disoriented their senses, allowing the venomous quill to find its mark. The elven warriors moved with an uncanny grace, exploiting the vulnerabilities created by their intricate and lethal attacks. However, the elven forces were not without casualties. One of their 13 experts succumbed to the celestial flames unleashed earlier, his sacrifice not in vain as it created a diversion that allowed the successful execution of the petal cyclone and venomous quill. The forest echoed with the cries of battle, a chaotic symphony that painted the scene with elemental brilliance. Vist and Velben, .cm for new updates. The advantage now firmly in the hands of the elven forces, the clash continued, weaving a tale of strife and resilience amid the ancient trees. "You are going to die soon enough. Now, why don't you start begging for your lives? Our elf queen is extremely noble and honorable, and she might allow even lowly humans like you to keep your lives if you reveal your motives," proclaimed one of the elder elves with an air of pride. Hui responded with a disdainful grunt, tch. Amidst this tense exchange, the elven race's members sensed something extraordinary. The barbarian race's immortal dominion, flying ahead of them, began radiating immense power. "What is going on?" A Saint Realm elf couldn't help but gaze fearfully at the barbarian race's immortal dominion, now emanating the power of heaven and earth. That's not Saint Light. That's the power of heaven and earth. That dominion is expending its immortal chi now, whispered an elder elf with shock in their eyes, glaring at Hui. He demanded angrily, "What is this? What are you lowly humans planning?" Hui laughed, and so did his comrades. Laughter echoed in the forest as Hui, reveling in the elves' confusion, continued to unveil his plan. Your entire race is just too stupid, including that elf queen of yours. When we barged inside with this barbarian race's immortal dominion, you should have done your best from the start to repel and force us out. Hui taunted, relishing in the puzzled yet anxious expressions of the elves. With a wild laughter, he continued, "We didn't bring this barbarian race's immortal dominion to break the barrier of your world tree elven dominion or to suppress its laws. All we were doing till now was buy time and gather your attention. You probably didn't notice it because of the concealing enchantment, but the barbarian race's immortal dominion was gathering all its power during this period. The purpose of the barbarian race's immortal dominion was for it to self-destruct. I am sure you know what will happen if an immortal dominion like that of the barbarian race explodes here. Naturally, we will all die here as well, but this won't be our true deaths. This is because we are just clones. You should actually feel proud that the esteemed Heavenly Court had decided to invest so many rare resources just to deal with a stupid race like yours," Hui spoke with a disdainful smirk. Hui was most certainly speaking the truth. The Heavenly Court had utilized many of their rare resources to develop true clones of their subordinates for this mission. Creating true clones meant to develop clones that held the same power level as the original expert. Naturally, this would greatly weaken the essence of the original expert and even affect their life force, but the Heavenly Court's storage held many rare and even mythical resources to help their subordinates recover from the aftereffects. Well, in any case, the elven race was now left to confront the aftermath, a volatile and uncontrollable barbarian race's immortal dominion within their sacred world tree elven dominion. The potential devastation loomed large that threatened the enchanting forest, the elven population, and the mighty world tree itself. In this critical moment, the elven queen suddenly appeared on the battlefield, radiating an aura of pure strength. The elven race, catching a glimmer of hope, believed that the queen would surely have a solution to this impending catastrophe. Elf Queen Alindra, realizing the imminent danger posed by the barbarian race's immortal dominion, swiftly tapped into the ancient connection she shared with the majestic trees surrounding her. The forest responded to her call, the ancient trees bending to her will like loyal subjects. With a wave of her hand, she commanded the towering giants to weave together, forming a colossal dome of pure ancient wood essence. She channeled the very essence of the world tree, drawing strength from the interconnected web of roots that spread throughout the world tree elven dominion. This infusion of power amplified her abilities to unprecedented levels, and with a determined gaze, she focused on completely enveloping the ticking time bomb within the protective embrace of the ancient wood dome. The Elf Queen's voice echoed through the rustling leaves, resonating with the very essence of the forest. "Ancient guardians, heed my call. Together, we shall quell the destructive storm within our sacred realm." Yet, amidst the imminent danger, Hui and his team members, disdain etched on their faces, let out snorts of mockery. "Give up! You cannot stop the inevitable." Hui sneered, his bow at the ready, arrows glowing with elemental essence. Alindra, undeterred by the scoffs, ignored those attacks and let her subordinates deal with Hui and his team members. As Elf Queen Alindra poured her strength into the creation of this arboreal shield, a surge of energy emanated from the world tree itself, as if acknowledging her plea for aid. The forest responded with a symphony of whispers, as if the very trees were lending their essence to stave off the impending catastrophe. But amidst the chaos, Hui and his team looked upon Alindra's efforts with disdainful snorts. "You think a bunch of trees can stop the might of a self-destructing immortal dominion? How amusing!" Hui mocked, his arrogance unyielding. As the tension reached its peak, an unreal explosion shattered the air. The barbarian race's immortal dominion, driven to self-destruction, unleashed chaotic immortal chi infused with myriad laws, strength law, flame law, wind laws, and a cacophony of others. The explosion threatened to rip apart the very fabric of reality. The wooden barrier crackled with power, empowered by the pure ancient wood essence Alindra had summoned. It glowed with a serene yet intense light, as if the essence of the enchanting forest itself had taken form. But the barbarian race's immortal dominion, in its final act of defiance, exerted a force that belied its impending destruction. For a moment, it seemed as though Elindra's desperate gambit might succeed. But the explosion fought back, tearing through the wooden fortress as if it were paper. The explosion, no longer confined, wreaked havoc upon the enchanting forest. The enchanting forest recoiled from the impact, ancient trees trembling as the shockwave reverberated through the once serene realm. Elves scattered in panic, and even the mighty world tree seemed to tremble in agony. The devastation extended far and wide. The explosion claimed the lives of many elves, and the once vibrant enchanting forest now bore scars of destruction. Elf Queen Elindra, though resilient, had not escaped unscathed. The world tree itself, the heart of the elven dominion, bore the brunt of the explosion, its leaves now scorched, and its branches withered. As the dust settled, it became apparent that Hui and his entire team were no more. The once mighty barbarian race's immortal dominion had turned into a catastrophic weapon, leaving a trail of ruin in its wake. As the echoes of destruction slowly settled, Elf Queen Elindra stood amidst the remnants of the enchanting forest, her eyes wide with a mix of shock and sorrow. The once vibrant canopy of trees was now replaced by a haunting landscape of upturned soil and charred remnants. Elindra's heart ached for the fallen, and her gaze moved across the devastation, absorbing the weight of the loss. She, the lone survivor in this desolation, bore witness to the aftermath. Her elven kin, once so deeply connected to the ancient woods, lay scattered and wounded. Elindra's emotions were a tempest within, a complex interplay of grief, anger, and an unyielding determination to rebuild. Amidst the wreckage, the resilience of the Elf Queen shone through. Her demeanor, though marked by the gravity of the situation, carried an unwavering spirit. Elindra's eyes, which had witnessed the destruction, now harbored a spark of determination, an unspoken vow to restore the enchanting forest to its former glory. However, the survival of Elf Queen Elindra wasn't merely a testament to her own abilities. It was the druid spirit within the heart of the World Tree Elven Dominion that had played a crucial role. As the immortal chi of the Elven Dominion was siphoned, the druid spirit conjured a protective barrier that shielded Elindra from the cataclysmic explosion of the barbarian race's immortal dominion. A deep sigh escaped Elindra's lips as she acknowledged the sacrifice made to save her. The druid spirit's intervention, while preserving her life, had come at a cost: the diminished strength of the world tree. The once mighty symbol of life now trembled, its leaves flickering like the fading embers of a once roaring fire. The shocking twist didn't end there. As the world tree weakened, an unsettling phenomenon unfolded across the Sky Martial continent. Across the entire continent, the spatial laws began to exhibit signs of distress. Like fragile threads stretched to their limit, the fabric of space itself seemed to quiver and quake. It wasn't merely a weakening, it was a shattering, as if the very foundations of reality were unraveling at the seams. Massive rifts appeared across the land, tearing through the sky and even burrowing into the depths of the earth. These rifts, numbering in the thousands, defied the natural order, creating gateways to other realms. The once stable spatial laws now succumbed to chaos, birthing portals that beckoned towards the unknown. The inhabitants of the Sky Martial continent watched in awe and trepidation as these rifts revealed themselves to be the portals of other worlds. The boundaries between realms blurred, and individuals now had access to these interdimensional passages. It was a phenomenon unprecedented in the annals of Sky Martial continent's history. Yet, the weakened world tree, though battered, was not defenseless. It maintained a potent barrier, preventing the beings within those minor worlds from pouring out into the Sky Martial continent. Your favorite ovals at n/vl/bin.com. Just as the denizens of the Sky Martial continent grappled with the repercussions of the spatial rifts, an unexpected player entered the stage: the primordial Yin-Yang Immortal Dominion, a realm where the Heavenly Court held dominion over the vast expanse of existence. The ruling power of the Heavenly Court, residing within this immortal dominion, had decided to intervene in the unfolding chaos. While the primordial Yin Yang immortal dominion couldn't outright seize control of the minor worlds linked to the spatial portals without incurring a tremendous cost, it possessed a subtler means of influence. The immortal dominion wielded its cosmic authority to alter the conditions of the barrier set by the world tree. The once protective barrier underwent a transformation, mirroring the changing tides of fate. Instead of obstructing the passage through the spatial portals, the barrier now permitted the inhabitants of the Sky Martial continent to venture into these minor worlds and return at will. It was as if the boundaries between realms had been rewritten, opening new avenues of exploration and interaction. But the twists didn't end there. The modified barrier held an even more intriguing facet. Those who embarked on this interdimensional journey could bring along individuals from the minor worlds, provided they were in direct physical contact. The caveat was that the inhabitant of the Sky Martial continent had to be alive for this unique connection to bridge the gap between realms. As the news of the altered barrier and the newfound accessibility to minor worlds spread like wildfire, the denizens of the Sky Martial continent found themselves at the threshold of an unprecedented era. However, little did they know that the cosmic play unfolding was a result of the Heavenly Court's intricate plan, carefully crafted to unfold at this pivotal juncture. The Heavenly Court's strategy had been clear from the beginning: weaken the world tree, expose the existence of these minor worlds, and assert control over each of them. These seemingly inconspicuous realms held treasures beyond imagination, rare resources, exotic materials, and a myriad of races unknown to the Sky Martial continent. But amidst the allure of untold riches and discovery, a more profound objective lurked in the shadows. The Heavenly Court harbored a paramount ambition: to seize the world hearts within these minor worlds. It was a plan of unparalleled significance, for only by attaining control over the world hearts could the Heavenly Court not only solidify their dominion over the Sky Martial continent but also pave the way for a Saint Realm expert to ascend to the coveted realm of immortality, the Immortal Realm. Now, here's where the plot took an unexpected twist, a little hiccup in the grand scheme of cosmic exploration. It turned out that if you were an Immortal Realm cultivator, you couldn't just waltz into these minor worlds like you owned the place. Why, you ask? Well, these worlds had a bit of a delicate constitution, not quite up to the task of handling beings of Immortal Realm prowess. It was like trying to fit an elephant into a teacup, entertaining to imagine, but utterly disastrous in practice. The immense pressure exuded by Immortal Realm experts would send these minor worlds into a cosmic meltdown, tearing them apart at the seams. So, as much as these mighty cultivators wanted to hop into these realms and flex their immortal muscles, the universe had other plans. Thus, these Immortal Realm cultivators sent their clones to these minor worlds that were only at the peak of the Saint Realm. Now, as the Sky Martial continent opened up through the newly discovered spatial portals, a myriad of possibilities unfolded. The continent, once confined by its known territories, now welcomed exploration in all its diversity. The vast expanse of the Sky Martial continent was divided into 5 regions, each with its allure and mysteries. The central region, expansive and sprawling, was the largest, rich in landscapes and cultures. Following closely were the eastern seas, with boundless waters holding secrets and maritime wonders. In the north, the northern states stretched out with icy landscapes and mountains. The southern region, with diverse climates and lush greenery, ranged from tropical paradises to dense forests. Nestled in shifting sands, the western deserts, though the smallest, held charm with golden dunes and ancient ruins. These 1,200 spatial portals were divided among the 5 regions. The central region, a hub of activity, housed 400 portals, inviting exploration of landscapes in bustling cities. The eastern seas, with 250 portals, offered maritime adventures and hidden island treasures. To the north, 200 portals dotted the northern states, inviting bold navigation of icy landscapes and large forests to access them. The southern region, with 180 portals, unfolded its vibrant tapestry, from tropical shores to dense jungles, promising encounters with exotic flora and fauna. In the western deserts, where 170 portals shimmered, the call of dunes and ancient mysteries awaited. The unfolding possibilities thrilled those contemplating their next destination. Each region promised unique challenges, hidden treasures, and encounters shaping destinies. Now, in the unfolding events across the Sky Martial continent, Wang Jian decided to utilize a teleportation formation, allowing him to traverse instantly into the heart of the World Tree Elven Dominion. His primary objective was to meet up with Elf Queen Alindra, his beloved, and assess the aftermath of the devastating onslaught by the Heavenly Court and the barbarian race's immortal dominion. Upon arrival, Wang Jian was taken aback by the staggering destruction that marred the once serene World Tree Elven Dominion. The enchanting forest lay in ruins beyond the hope of immediate repair. The very essence of the elves' sacred realm had been ruthlessly scarred. As he traversed the desolate landscape, Wang Jian sensed the heavy toll exacted on the elven race. 1/10 of their population had succumbed to the chaos, the loss leaving an indelible mark on the once thriving community. The air hung heavy with the somber weight of tragedy, and Wang Jian could feel the collective anguish of the elves. Moving deeper into the ravaged territory, Wang Jian encountered the surviving elves, many bearing wounds both physical and emotional. The gravity of the situation became apparent as he witnessed the resilience of the elves in the face of adversity. Despite the devastation, a determined spirit lingered among the survivors, a testament to the unwavering strength of the elven people. Seeking out Elf Queen Alindra amidst the chaos, Wang Jian's heart swelled with concern and affection. He navigated through the once familiar paths, now twisted and mangled by the recent upheaval. The air crackled with an air of urgency as he pressed forward, driven by the need to find his lover and offer solace in this dire hour. Finally, in the heart of the elven sanctuary, Wang Jian spotted Alindra. Her regal stature seemed to diminish against the backdrop of the wounded World Tree. Wang Jian's eyes softened as he approached, a mixture of relief and sorrow coursing through him. "Alindra," he called gently, his voice cutting through the echoes of turmoil. Upon hearing Wang Jian's voice, Alindra turned to face him. Her eyes, once radiant with the essence of the World Tree, now bore the weight of grief. In that silent exchange, a shared understanding passed between them. No words were needed to convey the depth of the tragedy that had befallen Alindra's home. "Jian," Alindra spoke, her voice a whisper carried by the wind. "The World Tree, our enchanting forest, they are wounded beyond healing. The toll on our people is immense." Wang Jian nodded, acknowledging the gravity of the situation. Together, they ventured into the heart of the devastation, where the World Tree's weakened pulse echoed in sync with the elves' resilience. As they walked among the wounded, Wang Jian's gaze fell upon the druid spirit within the World Tree, a silent guardian that had weathered the storm alongside the elves. Its essence, though strained, emanated a protective aura, shielding those who sought refuge within its weakened embrace. "Alindra, I will help you return your elven race back to its full glory," Wang Jian affirmed, his eyes reflecting determination. "The World Tree still stands, and with it, hope. I will mend the wounds and restore the enchanting forest." Alindra's eyes met his, gratitude and determination mirrored in her gaze. To initiate the arduous process of healing the World Tree and the enchanting forest, Wang Jian made a decisive move, channeling a substantial number of his amassed destiny points into the restoration effort. In the vast expanse of his system, Wang Jian's reservoir of destiny points stood at an impressive 6 million. With determination etched on his face, he committed a significant portion, precisely 3 million destiny points, to mend the profound injuries suffered by the World Tree. The infusion of these points sparked a restorative energy, an attempt to bring back the vitality that had once thrived within the sacred heart of the Elven Dominion. As the destiny points surged through the intricate network of the World Tree, a palpable shift occurred. The once weak impulse gained strength, and the essence of the World Tree began to resonate with newfound vitality. Although not fully restored to its former glory, the World Tree exhibited a remarkable improvement, a testament to the restorative power of Wang Jian's investment. The effects rippled through the enchanting forest, nestled within the embrace of the World Tree Elven Dominion. Signs of rejuvenation emerged as the vibrant hues of the foliage regained their brilliance. The air, once heavy with despair, now carried whispers of hope as the enchanting forest responded to the revitalizing energy coursing through the world tree. Wang Jian observed the gradual transformation with a sense of accomplishment. The synergy between his destiny points and the innate resilience of the world tree became evident in the blossoming vitality of the sacred realm. However, the journey toward complete recovery remained a path yet to be fully traversed. I have done my best to heal the world tree enough for it to recover the enchanting forest. But the recovery will be gradual, Wang Jian remarked, his eyes fixed on the revitalized expanse of the enchanting forest. Alindra couldn't help but respond a bit emotionally and appreciatively. This is more than anything I could have ever accomplished by myself. I don't even know how I can thank you. I am already yours, even my elven race is yours. Jay, just how can I repay this favor of yours? Wang Jian flashed a sly grin, his eyes gleaming with mischief as he responded to Alindra's heartfelt words. Well, my dear Alindra, no need for formalities. We're in this together, after all. He leaned in playfully, a teasing edge in his voice. As for repaying the favor, I'm sure we can think of something, can't we? Alindra, her emotions ranging from seriousness to bashfulness, cast a sidelong glance at Wang Jian. You know, Wang Jian, your methods might be a bit unorthodox, but I can't deny the results. She sighed, a hint of a smile tugging at her lips. Discover WStories on no/e/lbin.com. I used to despise you, you know? I am sure you understand considering how evil and depraved you are. She chuckled softly. But here we are. You've managed to turn my hatred into something else entirely. Wang Jian's laughter echoed in the revitalized surroundings. Ah, love, they say, is a mysterious force. Turns enemies into allies, hate into something a bit more interesting. Alindra, her expression a blend of seriousness and acceptance, spoke with a touch of bashfulness. I suppose you've earned your place, Wang Jian. The world tree owes you, and so do I. Wang Jian, the embodiment of chill and mischief, winked at Alindra. Acknowledgement is a good start. Now, as for that repayment. He let the sentence hang, his eyes glinting with playful intent. Alindra, blushing ever so slightly, playfully nudged him. You'll never change, will you? Why change when being a bit wicked gets the job done? Wang Jian replied, his tone light-hearted. Besides, you seem to enjoy the results. Wang Jian, with a mischievous glint in his eyes, leaned in and whispered to Alindra, by the way, my lovely queen, there's one more thing on my to-do list. I did expend quite a bit of my mysterious power to heal this magnificent tree of yours. To replenish it, I'll need to, have some quality time with the other princesses of the elven race. You know, a little shared magic. Alindra, with a bemused smile, simply nodded. You never cease to surprise me, Wang Jian. But if it helps the world tree, consider it done. I trust your methods, even if they're unconventional. With that settled, Alindra led Wang Jian to the royal palace nestled within the World Tree Elven Dominion. The air was filled with the enchanting aroma of blossoms, and the palace itself seemed to echo with the lively whispers of the forest. In the royal chamber, adorned with ethereal decor, the remaining 4 princesses awaited. Selena, having already shared her connection with Wang Jian, greeted them with a knowing smile. The others, unaware of the unique arrangement, looked curiously at the duo. Alindra, taking charge, introduced Wang Jian with a hint of playfulness in her voice. Daughters, this is Wang Jian, our esteemed ally, and the one who played a crucial role in saving our world tree. He has a unique way of restoring his energy, and we've agreed to assist him in that. The princesses exchanged glances, their expressions echoing curiosity and confusion. Well, truckers, that's all for this part. See you all in the next part.